Fry can't believe what he saw. He's asking everyone, did you guys see that earlier? When the young master showed it to me? Ezel's still reeling, barely able to believe her eyes, but Haffel, ever the sharp one, confirms it wasn't some trick of the light, it was absolutely the young master, no doubt about it. Fry watches the knights going hard in the yard, and he's like, man, the young master's been putting in work. I never thought he could pull off moves like that. He's still scratching his head, thinking about how these new powers just popped up out of nowhere, and he can't help but ask, seriously, what happened to him? But Eren Steelguard isn't worried about what they're saying, he's just staring out the window, a fierce resolve burning in his eyes. His emerald eyes ignite with an intense blue glow, and he makes a silent, ironclad promise, I will make sure. That tragedy. It's not happening again. He's locked in, thinking, in this life, I will definitely make it right. He stands, absolutely radiating with a mysterious blue energy, a living paradox of two lives, both hitting that pivotal 19th year. That's the age, he remembers, when his past life got absolutely snuffed out. A memory that still hits hard. He stares out his window, a choked sound escaping him, the sheer weight of his past crushing down. He flashes back to a life spent entirely under his grandmother's wing, a stark, almost dreamlike contrast to the brutal reality that came next. Then the Empire's war exploded, forcing him to fight through conspiracies and betrayals, a brutal, soul-crushing struggle etched onto the face of a true warrior. His father, a legendary knight, was a titan, but he? Just a measly third-class knight, nowhere near their league. He stares at the nameplate, Eren Steelguard, a name that once felt like a crushing burden, a legacy he couldn't live up to. Even after somehow becoming a lord, despite feeling totally useless, he lost everything in just 3 years, stabbed in the back by the one count he trusted most, the ultimate Steelguard family traitor. He flashes back to the disgraced Lord Lazen Steelguard, the architect of his ruin, and the crushing humiliation of being cast out, treated like dirt by everyone. But the crushing truth hits him, all of it, every single bit, was his fault. He yearns for a heroic death, a knight's end, anything but this humiliating defeat. He lost it all, wealth, honor, life itself, stabbed in the back by a lifelong enemy, nearly killed by a hidden assassin. What a brutal end. He was just a naive kid with a messed up personality back then, and now, after all that trauma, he's back, reliving it all over again. A frantic voice screams in his head, a desperate warning to back off, as he lunges for the glowing blue leaf, his mind roaring for silence. He bolts upright, eyes blown wide with a mix of shock and dawning realization, the glowing blue leaf still defying gravity right in front of him. It's the World Tree's leaf, a legendary artifact that only shows up once a century, a family heirloom that lets you see the future, and it's not supposed to be able to cross dimensions. To think he wasted his whole last life, a total blank slate, completely clueless, his past failures demand correction. He snatches at the leaf, his voice burning with fierce determination. His hand shoots out, eyes locked on the glowing prize, a single, desperate word tearing from his throat. Behold! The World Tree's leaf, pulsating with raw, mystical power, materializes, a single, potent fragment of untold wonders. Eren's mind races, remembering the International Trading Guild's betrayal, yet he's awestruck by this once-in-a-century miracle, a vision only he can witness. Despite his future sight, he was still just a pawn, unable to escape the guild's grasp. But these leaves? They're the eyes of a god, a prophet's oracle. A voice cuts through his thoughts, demanding to know what consumes him. A healing potion. The voice sneers, as a shadowy hand extends, a chilling offer. Why show me this? He roars, as the voice chillingly declares the client's patience has run out. He won't be looked down on. He challenges the unseen, demanding to know who gave it the audacity to mock him. A knife flashes in the hand, the voice mockingly offering the leaf as his inheritance. Rage contorts his features. They weren't content with ruining his health and reputation, now they want his life too. A furious purple aura erupts around him. He curses, his resolve iron hard, daring the unseen foe to try and take his life. His bloodied hand trembled, the pain a stark reminder of his failures, as he knew he was finally done. He was probably going to die, and all he could think was, if only he had another chance. A shadowy figure loomed in his mind, a voice echoing the truth about the World Tree's leaf, the eyes of God and a prophet's oracle, a power he hadn't been able to grasp. Even if he couldn't be as great as his father, he had still aspired to be a decent lord, and now, with his life slipping away, he pleaded for just one more chance to correct his mistakes. His eyes, filled with desperation, looked upward as he wished, if only he could turn back time. A moment of silence hung heavy in the air. Then, glowing particles began to swirl around him. With a sudden surge of power, a brilliant blue sword materialized before him, radiating a powerful aura, as a system message declared the final reflection of the World Tree's leaf and confirmed that the World Tree's leaf would now be granted. A system prompt flashes, demanding the final wish from the battered figure. His pained face is a mirror to the system's chaos, as it screams errors and fails to find a solution. But the system pushes through the glitches, digging deep into his desires with all the data it has. 3 wishes are instantly found, and the system starts calculating their raw power. No significant difference is detected, so the system declares, all wishes granted. Then, a blinding, cosmic light explodes, swallowing everything whole. The entire world dissolves into streaks of pure, raw energy. Suddenly, as if from a deep dream, Aaron's eyes snap open. His wounds are gone, his look is different, and pure shock fills his face. He stares around, utterly bewildered, muttering, "What is this place?" He stares out the window, the view eerily familiar, a scene he just lived through months ago. But then, a terrifying realization hits him: he should be dead, brutally tortured by Kunthes, an assassin sent by his own father. Suddenly, a gentle voice shatters his thoughts, asking to come in, and he whips around to see Ezel, right there in the doorway. He grapples with the impossible reality, remembering her as his personal caretaker from a year ago, while she innocently calls for the young master. Pure disbelief floods his senses, that familiar face, it shouldn't be here, not now, not like this. Ezel, completely oblivious to his inner chaos, innocently asks his age, solidifying the impossible truth. The sheer weight of it all crashes down, leaving him utterly unable to process or believe this impossible reality. The impossible truth shatters him, he collapses to the floor, Ezel screaming his name in pure panic as she rushes to his side. On the ground, he stares up at the crying Ezel, her presence undeniable, as she sobs beside him. Aaron, still processing the mind-bending truth, mentally kicks himself for his awkward phrasing, a classic move from his old life, even when he was trying to be thankful. But Ezel, totally thrown by his weird vibe, just stares, jaw dropped, thinking, is this some next-level psychological torture now? Panicked, she drops into a deep bow, practically begging him to spill if she messed up, because she knows one wrong move means brutal consequences and a seriously unhappy master. Aaron quickly jumps in, "Whoa, that's not what I meant at all." He's still figuring out this whole noble thing, apparently. A brutal flashback hits him, his old self, telling Ezel to not bother him with trivial tasks or threatening to throw her out for being clumsy. No wonder she's terrified, he totally gets it now. Snapping out of it, he asks Ezel why she's even there, remembering Captain Haffel was absolutely livid because he ditched training yet again. Ezel, still totally bewildered by his weird vibe, says she'll go find the captain right away, then stops, asking pardon, as Aaron facepalms, realizing he's still messing up his communication. She stares up at him, "Why are you acting so weird? Did we mess up?" He just stammers out a weak "no, sir," in reply. Aaron gazes out the window, thinking, I have no idea what kind of crazy chance this is, but it definitely feels like a massive do-over. He's looking back, at the one who shattered his family, a monster who cared for nothing but himself. But that guy, he's gone. Vanished. Now, only a ruined steel guard remains, ready to dedicate his entire life to rewriting the future. With a determined thud, he's ready to roll, wondering if it's time to make his move. A slight smirk crosses his face as he admits losing his hard-earned gains is a bummer, but he's got zero regrets. Meanwhile, Ezel, seeing him off, can't help but wonder if he's actually okay. Welcome back to the Steel Guard training grounds, where legends are forged. Aaron Steel Guard watched the knights from afar, their training still intense. He had to know, were they still as fierce as ever? He thought back to his past, realizing he never truly valued it, and all the experiences he'd missed out on before. Just then, a voice cut through his thoughts. It was Captain Haffel, the legendary knight of the Steel Guard family, welcoming him back. Aaron, a bit flustered, quickly apologized for being late, confessing he was indeed a little behind schedule. But Haffel wasn't having it, he cut straight to the chase, reminding Aaron of his promise and telling him he'd have to work extra hard to catch up. Haffel then dropped the bomb: he'd be Aaron's personal trainer, no slacking allowed. Aaron, surprisingly, was all in. Ready to go, Aaron asked if they should start right away, as Haffel thought to himself that the young master always had a plan up his sleeve. He could totally bail, find another excuse to dodge his responsibilities, but that old version of him? Gone. Poof. Vanished. It's all on him now. Because everything's reset, back to square one, just like 17 years ago. The only real difference. It's him. And with that, he's taking control, grabbing destiny by the reins. Because he's already seen the future. He's making a declaration, he's leveling up his skills. While Fry watches his intense training, thinking, whoa, the young master is seriously focused now. His mission? Stop every single tragedy, protect his family's legacy, no matter what. He's pushing past his limits, screaming out the count, absolutely drained. This is a first for him, pushing his body to the absolute max. He's worn out, but he's got this. He's thinking about his weaknesses, the threats ahead, and how he's gonna crush it all by boosting his stats. Whoa. A system alert pops up out of nowhere, new user detected. His eyes go wide. A crazy prompt asks, begin dimensional training? Accept or reject? Eren freaks out, yelling, what is this? Fry, looking worried, asks if he's okay. He asks Fry if he sees the floating screen, but Fry's like, nope, nothing there. What are you seeing? A chilling thought hits Eren, am I the only one who can see this? He's got no clue what this floating thing is, but it's definitely not a book or anything normal. The cryptic message from the system materialized, and Eren was hit with a single, electrifying command, accept. The glowing interface morphed into a book, a dimensional transaction book that blew his mind. How was this even possible? Suddenly, Fry's voice shattered the tension, screaming out to his young master in utter disbelief. Fry pressed on, his voice laced with worry, asking if Eren was really okay and dropping Raphael's name like a bombshell. But Eren just flashed a confident grin, stating firmly, he wasn't the same person anymore. Fry kept begging him, his face a mask of pure panic, while Eren just stared off into the distance, completely zoned out. Inside his head, Eren knew Haffel wouldn't lie, but a part of him still wondered if this whole wild ride was just a crazy hallucination. Eren stared at the glowing book, still trying to process everything, while Fry stood by, totally oblivious to Ezel watching their every move from the shadows. Morning breaks, and a loyal attendant offers tea, but the young master's mind is still racing, haunted by the memory of being nearly devoured by unknown entities. But then, a bizarre feeling pulls his gaze to his own eyes, and something wild is starting to happen. A bizarre blue flame ignites within them, and he can't believe his own eyes, is that really a blue flame? Then, a mind-blowing thought hits him, did the dimensional transaction book just merge with his eyes? But instead of fear, he feels an unstoppable power, nothing spooky about it. Remembering a maid asking if he was a knight, he realizes this has to be mana, real power, and he's about to break through. He's on the edge of breaking free, a massive change exploding inside him. Then, the shocking truth dawns, it's all been happening inside his eyes this whole time. Thinking about it, this makes even less sense than going back 17 years, but he still lets out a huge sigh of relief. And it's a massive relief that the head chamberlain hasn't found out about his secret. Suddenly, a piercing alarm blares, and Eren is hit with a system message. He stares at the glowing book, seeing his name, Bruin Steelguard and all zeros for coins, level, and EXP, but the real shocker? No, by option anywhere. A new window pops up, asking if he remembers his purpose in this world, then the system just goes autocomplete, and he knows, deep down, he's being dragged into this whether he likes it or not. Then, boom. Dimensional trading will now begin, explodes into view, showing his ID, 0 balance, and that he's in System A with 999 trades left. His eye glows blue as he takes it all in, realizing he's stuck starting from square one, level 0. He lets out a frustrated sigh, complaining about how demanding the system is and how he can't even touch the trading. His brain is on overdrive, wondering where his coins came from and if his account reset from his past life, but his trading history is all messed up, leaving him totally bewildered. His eye glows with a soft blue pulse, as he tries to wrap his head around this insane mess. With a fierce glint in his glowing blue eye, he declares, alright then, I'll start off by warming up. Eren, with a fiery resolve, challenges a knight to a spar. A week later, Fry, the knight, can't believe his ears, wondering if Eren is actually serious about this challenge. Eren, beaming with confidence, shouts a resounding, yeah, confirming his readiness. Fry, trying to be a good sport but also throwing down a gauntlet, boasts he'll go easy, using only one hand and even closing his eyes, a challenge Eren meets with a sly grin. The spar kicks off and Fry's inner monologue is a battle of pride, hating to hold back against Eren, but a command rings out to forget the captain and unleash his full power, a sharp clank signaling the start of the real fight. With a fierce declaration, Fry lunges forward, a powerful whoosh cutting through the air. But in a flash, Eren explodes into action, a blinding blue energy erupting around him as he intercepts Fry's attack with a devastating counter, leaving the knight stunned and questioning what just happened. Fry's jaw drops, his plan to take it easy shattered, as he's hit with the shocking truth, Eren's swordplay is on a whole other level. The heavens open up, reflecting Fry's inner chaos, as he gazes at Eren, utterly bewildered and asking himself, is this really the young master I thought I knew? A massive thud rocks the ground as something crashes down from above. A bearded man swears he saw it, but Eren's Steelguard is totally baffled, asking how that's even possible. He's totally processing it, muttering about the sheer possibility, but then tells himself to chill out and not overdo it. The bearded guy, still absolutely floored, can't believe his eyes, blurting out if the young master is actually a star. Then, a huge wave of relief hits him, thanking his lucky stars that everything's back to normal. With a satisfying click, he stares at a treasure chest absolutely bursting with gold. He's bummed he can't use it right now, but he's already planning how to make it count. He reaches in, grabs a coin, and beep. A glowing interface pops up, telling him the only way to use these coins is through the coin transaction system. He quickly scans the options, and the most urgent thing on the menu is currency exchange. The system's currency exchange blazes to life, a mystical hourglass pulsating with power. Clutching a single coin, he watches as the system reveals the insane conversion rates: silver to copper, gold to silver, platinum to gold. This is way more than he ever imagined. His mind races as the system confirms a massive haul of 25 gold coins, blowing his previous estimates out of the water. But there's a catch: the system forces the exchange, making direct use of the coins impossible. Forcing him to accept that more gold is always better, even if the system's item prices are absolutely bonkers, with the cheapest item still a whopping 100 gold. He can't help but think that becoming a top-tier hunter in this System Zero world is a pipe dream without serious cash. Driven by the need for more wealth, his eyes lock onto Mana Crystal, the perfect solution. Just then, a chat window explodes onto the screen. This is a chatting room with Marth Hearthstone, with messages about selling those very mana crystals. Stunned, he stares at the name, realizing the seller might be the same Hearthstone from the chat, and now he has to decide, click or not click. His gaze locks onto the system interface, a new transaction window flashing with details about mana crystals. He dives in, checking the seller's profile, Hearthstone, and demanding to know the price. A 5% system charge for private trades is immediately apparent. His eyes widen at the staggering cost: 100 gold per low-grade mana crystal, plus that 5% system fee. This can't be right. If the info is true, this Hearthstone is a total ripoff, a complete thief. Selling system items at this price? He's a total bastard. But he needs them. Gritting his teeth, he decides to bite the bullet and buy just one for now. He quickly deduces the system, not the exchange, is behind the price gouging. A cunning idea forms: bypass the system entirely and buy directly. Hearthstone, a mysterious cloaked figure, lets out a playful "oh my" and rejects the direct offer, commenting on his bold approach. Aaron lays out his strategy: mana bag prices are crushing him, store prices are insane. He's ready to cut a direct deal, and just like that, the chat room with Mr. Hearthstone opens. He's like, half price. But Hearthstone's already playing it cool, hinting it might be his own VIP status at play. Boom. Trade confirmed. Hearthstone seals the deal: 100 mana crystals for 5,000 gold, just like that. With the crystals now shimmering, Aaron takes it all in, figuring out how this whole system works. Hearthstone's pleased, and Aaron hits accept, locking in the deal. But wait, there's a catch. Hearthstone drops the bomb about the system's 5% fee, demanding Aaron pay back the missing 250 gold. Aaron's jaw drops, seeing the system notification and wondering, cash back. What even is that? Even Hearthstone stunned, pointing at a system pop-up that says Aaron just got 3 coins back as cash back. Aaron's mind races: is this guy a secret VIP? Hearthstone scoffs, but Aaron's already moving on, thinking about absorbing that mana crystal. Hearthstone still freaking out about the cash back, but Aaron, holding the crystal, notices something wild: the system itself is being sucked into the mana crystal. Unlocking the Steelguard's ultimate technique, the Breath of Steel, demands intense dedication to Grandpa's explosive mana breathing method. But it's not just about mana, you need a rock-solid body and an insane amount of it. For those who couldn't meet the insane requirements, it was a pipe dream, but the path of sheer effort and training was always an option. There were 2 ways to hit those insane benchmarks, and the second was all about that mana crystal absorption skill from the transaction book. Meanwhile, the first path meant non-stop sword training, and Aaron was absolutely crushing it, with Hearthstone watching every move. Hearthstone couldn't believe his eyes, wondering if Aaron had tapped into that same raw power he'd witnessed before. Aaron, fired up and ready to go, decided it was time to unleash his true strength once more. Then, out of nowhere, he challenged Mihail to a spar, leaving the man completely stunned. Aaron, with a confident grin, declared Mihail the perfect target to show everyone what he was truly capable of. The tension was palpable as Mihail laid out the ground rules for their epic showdown. But Ezel, the Steelguard's eldest daughter, was not having it, her voice practically screaming with concern for the young master. She was practically panicking, convinced the young master was still too wild, but Captain Haffel just nodded, totally getting her vibe. Back to the action, Mihail laid it all out, proposing a back to spar if mana was too risky. Smart move, right? Aaron was all in, confirming he knew a back to fight meant going all out, and Mihail was hyped, giving the green light for the battle to begin. Haffel, ever the analyst, pointed out Mihail was a 5th-class knight, but Fry was already losing his mind, seeing the young master somehow pushing him around. Haffel was like, "Are you sure about this back to fight?" and Fry, who thought Mihail had it in the bag, was now totally freaking out. "Whoa, look at that." Mihail's jaw dropped, pure shock on his face, as he got absolutely rocked backward, Fry's voice screaming the question: "He's getting pushed back." Aaron roared, unleashing a lightning-fast, devastating strike, his blade slamming home with an explosive impact. Eren unleashes a devastating mid-air strike, and the impact is absolutely insane. Mihail is absolutely floored, his face screaming disbelief. He can't even process how this weak, young master just pulled that off. Eren sticks the landing like a boss while his opponent is still spinning, totally rocked by that insane hit. The crowd goes wild, absolutely stunned. It's official, Mihail just got schooled. The entire arena explodes with cheers, screaming for young Master Erwin Steelguard. What a comeback. He stands there, radiating pure confidence, soaking in the glory from everyone who ever underestimated him. Then, a soft touch on his cheek, it's his sister, and the moment is just perfect. Her voice, thick with emotion, spills out her pride, confessing she totally misjudged her little brother's power. He looks into her eyes, and all he can think is, his sister, always his rock. Meet Ezel, the eldest daughter of the legendary Levadon Steelguard family, standing tall in their opulent hall. Her younger brother, Erwin, was a certified genius, a prodigy. But poor Mihail, even with Steelguard blood, was only ever good enough to be a knight. The breath of the steel is the family's core power, but here's the kicker, it's only passed to the women, who then marry out to other noble families. And because of that ancient rule, Ezel, the eldest daughter, was denied the breath of the steel. She can't help but wonder if it's all her fault. She totally gets the insane pressure and constant criticism her family faces every single day because of this situation. Later, Erwin confronts Ezel, dropping a truth bomb. She absolutely has the family's blood essence, she is a Steelguard. Ezel is totally overwhelmed, apologizing profusely, admitting she had no clue about the weight he'd been carrying. Erwin stares back, his gaze burning with fierce determination. He feels a pang of guilt, knowing his whole scheme was really just for his own transformation. Flashback to Ezel, he's cooking up a scheme for her acceptance, all while remembering someone with incredible wisdom and integrity. She was the first to truly get him, to accept him, and that memory fuels his own evolving self. His prediction was spot on, but his conscience. It's going numb. He knows everything he's doing has to be for some ultimate, premium purpose. This is the only way, he tells himself, for the ultimate goal, a chilling resolve settling in. Later that night, at the grand dinner, he surveys the room, totally digging today's specialty menu. His eyes scan the table, Ezel, Haffel, Fry, Ernest, Mihail, all there, and he remembers a chilling prediction from the future. The question hangs heavy in the air, who will be the next lord? He's watching Ezel, right? And he's thinking, man, if I knew beating a knight in training would get this much hype, I would have done it way sooner. Over with Haffel and Fry, Haffel's like, heard about the young master's training ground stunt, and Fry's hyped, it totally worked. A smirk creeps onto his face as he thinks, he's finally got his dad's attention. This is his shot, and he's not blowing it. He's still thinking, I'm still so far from perfect, I only used a wooden sword. Ernest Heartstone, talking to Mihail, drops a bombshell, I heard the young master's already a 6th class apprentice. Kirin Steelguard, Levadon's eldest, just casually mentions, it wasn't even a proper sword fight. Ezel, looking worried, asks, aren't you worried, and he just shrugs, that little bit. She points out he's only 5th class right now, and he's like, yep, officially 5th class. She's gotta admit, that's pretty impressive. He then drops a bombshell, this is the first time he's gone all out since he got here. Ezel's shocked, you were holding back. He just grins, there's a reason I'm so set on being the Lord. Shaking off all doubt and hesitation, Eren's mind is now crystal clear, his worries completely gone. He confidently takes Ezel's hand, declaring his transformation is all because he's officially 16 now. But as their hands connect, a powerful current of mana explodes between them, it's a battle handshake, an intense mana exchange to test raw power. Eren's eyes snap open, is this some kind of secret test he's facing? Ezel, seeing his surprise, just smirks, confirming his massive improvement, and how much he's leveled up. He can feel the raw mana coursing through his joint, a powerful, undeniable force that's totally believable, and he's already thinking he'll blow past the young Master Steelguard. A calculating look crosses Eren's face as he processes everything, and it hits him, the youngest has been completely ignored. He mentally confirms his new power level, then pivots to the academy, wondering if Ezel has any requests for his enrollment. His eyes blaze with fierce resolve, because if that's the deal, he's already got a master plan brewing. Eren, still reeling from his power-up, pauses for a beat, a flicker of doubt crossing his mind about whether he's truly ready for what's next. But just as quickly, a confident smirk plays on his lips, as he challenges them to speak their minds, vowing to hear out every single demand. He locks eyes with Haffel, confessing his lack of specific knowledge but doubling down on his empathy for the common folk, sealing his promise with an unbreakable oath. With an unyielding stare, he lays down his ultimate goal, to master trade and seize his rightful place as a lord. He throws down the gauntlet, his voice dripping with conviction, daring them to deny his burning ambition. But Haffel absolutely explodes, shouting down the very notion as insane and demanding to know if the young lord has completely snapped. As the trio of Haffel, Fry, and Mihail storm out, the captain delivers a final, cutting blow: "You can't just shatter centuries of family tradition." Haffel's rage boils over, as he screams about the sacred rule of the secret storage, demanding to know what Eren means by such remarkable talk. Eren, completely unfazed, doubles down, confirming that the secret storage's power is, in fact, a family-only affair. Eren's mind flashes back to a time of easy acceptance, but now, everything's changed. Haffel, sensing the shift, demands to know if he's about to shatter their sacred family traditions. But Eren, with an iron will, drops a bombshell, declaring that from now on, he's taking control of the secret storage. Haffel's jaw practically hits the floor, completely blindsided. Haffel lets out a guttural growl of pure disbelief, his mind reeling. How could Eren, of all people, even dream of accessing a place that was off-limits even to him, the rightful eldest son? Eren, cool as ice, just shrugs off Haffel's outrage, asking what the big deal is, then completely blows off their family's sacred traditions, declaring he's the one who's going to be lord and take everything that's his. His eyes burn with an intense, victorious fire, a silent roar of, "Finally! It's mine!" The prize? The legendary Dimensional Transaction Book, the most powerful magic tome known to existence. And Eren knows the secret: to truly wield its power, he has to be the only one who can control it. He flashes back to his past life on Earth number 1342, a time he spent with his grandfather Laskin, a stark, almost alien contrast to the power he now holds. This life is a game-changer, totally unlike his past where he just stumbled upon the dimensional transaction. Now, he's got the full picture. Now, in this life, he can see it with his own eyes. The book wasn't the secret storage key at all, it was his father's ultimate wish, his true power. He's fixated on the Dimensional Transaction Book, a legendary artifact he's absolutely determined to monopolize. He's certain of it, the book was definitely here. No one else can have it, he declares, his eyes burning with resolve. The original owner? Their history. The Dimensional Transaction Book, its power is undeniable, its presence looming large in his thoughts. Suddenly, a flashback. A young Eren faces his father, who asks if he's being picky, and the kid just confidently says, "Yes, father." He remembers holding a glowing artifact, thinking, is this it? My hero reward? The legendary Levadon Steelguard Award, a massive golden trophy, was more than just a prize, it was the ultimate symbol of power, the most valuable treasure of the Steelguard family, and a key to becoming the next lord. But Eren Steelguard wasn't fooled, he saw it for what it was, just a temporary win, and everyone else was totally blinded by the hype. Then Mihail hit him with the tough question, "Didn't you say you'd only come to Vigo for the gold?" And Eren instantly knew what was going through his mind. This award wasn't just shiny, it was the Steelguard family's ultimate treasure, and with it, Eren could literally become the lord. But Eren was convinced he was built different, not like those other guys chasing power, he wasn't going to be swayed like that one guy. Still, he knew he couldn't just stand there, he had no time to waste on this, his eyes locked on his goal. Mihail, watching his intense focus, just had one thing to say, "Dude, you are seriously a mystery." Eren, caught off guard by the remark, seemed to finally give in, a silent acknowledgement passing between them. Hold up, what just happened? Something went down in the secret storage, like, right now. Eren's eyes are practically popping out, and he lets out a shocked, huh. He's freaking out, thinking about the other guy, and wondering if it's really not there, but then he tries to calm himself, realizing it was definitely there just a second ago, yet now it's vanished. The truth slams into him, it's gone. He has to chill out and figure this out. Okay, two options for the Dimensional Transaction Box going missing, either it got moved without him knowing, or someone's literally using it right now. That second option, someone actually using the box, that's the one he can check right away. He's not buying the moved theory, he's zeroing in on the next lord, because right now, he's got no other play to get that Dimensional Transaction Box back. With that intense look, he can only figure it hasn't been handed off to someone else yet. Eren's just chilling at his desk, thinking about how he snagged that hero's award and how it's actually raking in some serious cash. But then, bam. A holographic system window pops up, screaming, "Sight of Providence," and he's like, wait, is this power actually mine? Right before another message drops, revealing an insane level up. The system keeps going, dropping info that he's unlocked brand new abilities, and they'll be ready to rock once he officially registers them. Eren's face just goes full WTF as he remembers this ability is ancient, muttering if he's actually the Mr. they're talking about and if everyone's lost their minds. His eyes are practically popping out, and now faint blue lines are glowing on his forehead, showing just how much power is coursing through him. He tries to tap into this VIP inventory system, but it's a no-go. He's totally freaking out about what it means if this super important inventory stays locked down. Then, boom. His emerald eyes light up with this crazy, vibrant blue glow, a total visual confirmation of the raw power now surging through his veins. Another system window pops up, showing a daily attendance check and a list of insane EX Max and S Max abilities like Inventory Expansion and Eye of Providence, and all he can manage is a stunned, no way. His face is pure shock, those glowing blue eyes are huge with disbelief, as he tries to wrap his head around the system screaming, max leveled. This whole thing is absolutely bonkers and makes zero sense. Eren Steelguard, his eyes blazing with an otherworldly blue, is hit with the mind-blowing confirmation, he's officially an awakener. The sheer weight of it is almost too much to handle. Then, a sharp ding cuts through his thoughts, revealing a 20% commission fee for his ancient ability registration, absolutely mandatory for it to even work. The system hammers home the 20% charge again, making it crystal clear that ancient abilities need registration for their true power to unleash, and this applies to everything he's done so far. His jaw drops as another ding echoes, the insane price tag finally sinking in. But just as quickly, the system throws him a bone with a direct adjustment, promising a sweet 50% cashback on his coin investment, netting him a cool 5 coins back. Clutching a glowing blue book, Eren scans one last message, realizing the 10 coins he just got were actually a personal thank you from the president himself. A tiny, winged system mascot bursts into adorable laughter, clearly getting a kick out of the whole deal. The little mascot then nudges him, ready for the next big move. With a steely glint in his eyes and a fierce determination setting his jaw, Eren declares it's finally time for his revenge. Eren's mind races, calculating his next power play. First up, gotta get that ammo, and that means offloading some gear. With a decisive nod, he confirms the system's prompt, ready to cash out everything. Boom. Transaction complete. Now, with a fresh stack of cash, he's already plotting to snag a game-changing new skill. Cha-ching. 40 coins instantly convert to a whopping 400 gold. He grins, knowing that's a serious upgrade to his war chest. Kicking back on the bed, he might find the system a bit annoying, but hey, a good deal is a good deal. He sprawls out, soaking in the comfort, a brief moment of chill before the real grind begins. His eyes blaze with emerald power as he realizes the sheer absurdity of it all, dimensional trading from his bed. It's all thanks to that insane dimensional transaction book now chilling in his eye. He bolts upright, a blue aura flaring around his hand as the truth hits him, that dimensional transaction book in his eye is the real deal, the source of everything. His eyes burn with emerald fire, as the full, mind-blowing reality of the artifact he now wields finally clicks into place. He's absolutely blown away by the sheer convenience of his new power, realizing all those petty worries are now a thing of the past. A system notification flashes, transaction complete. That item was gone in a flash, leaving him to wonder what epic gear he should snag next. Mana crystals, maybe? He's already plotting his next big score, eyeing up those precious mana crystals. His eye pulses with a faint glow, the power of the dimensional transaction book manifesting right there. He's scrolling through the holographic market, and it hits him, finding a seller for anything he wants is ridiculously simple. But then, out of nowhere, a message pops up on his screen, a direct challenge from some mysterious sender. In this world, even the lowliest errand boys and restaurant workers are packing night-level power. Someone's asking, what's the plan here? Then, a system message slams down, unrecognized user. Access denied, followed by a chilling, I'm sorry, but I can't let you do that. A young man, eyes flaring with a crimson glow, is utterly baffled, demanding, why all of a sudden? He then starts racking his brain for the privilege requirements, thinking, there's only one thing I can think of, but I'm not sure. Boom. Eren unleashes the Eye of Providence, his eyes blazing crimson as the system screams, privileges unlocked. A beat of stunned silence hangs heavy, as he tries to wrap his head around what just happened. His mind races, demanding answers, what is the Eye of Providence, and what in the world is this system even about? The system flashes back, confirming his privileges are fully unlocked, and that a mountain of rewards are just waiting to be claimed. But then, a crushing blow. His excitement turns to utter confusion, as the system mockingly declares, no events, despite all the hype. Suddenly, a torrent of items floods his vision, an insane amount of them, leaving him utterly bewildered about what any of it means. Elsewhere, a sharp-eyed, formally dressed man is watching, and he's got some thoughts to share. He finds the whole thing incredibly fishy, muttering that even with a special sale, the exchange center's prices are still going to be a rip-off. Back with Eren, his glowing red eyes narrow in frustration, as he realizes his maxed-out privileges make the free transaction fee utterly pointless for him. Eren, still reeling from the system's insane power-up, can't believe there's no epic event or reward popping up, even with his maxed-out skills and privileges. He was totally hyped for some epic support or a massive reward, but seriously, not even a cheap event. The system was just blue-balling him, and he was getting seriously annoyed. But then it hits him, he's getting martial arts skills in this crazy new world. So he's like, screw it, I'll just dump my skill points into that. His eyes blaze with a furious red glow as he clutches a pulsating red orb of pure power. Suddenly, a torrent of red energy explodes from his chest with a thunderous roar, the system screaming that his very heart is about to get a direct hit from this absorption. The absorption's nasty side effects plummet by a mind-blowing 90%, while its speed goes absolutely ballistic, rocketing up by 300%, finishing the power-up in a flash. Absorption done, Aaron's glowing red eyes dart around, deep in thought, a massive question mark hanging over his head. How the heck was he supposed to use martial arts in this bizarre new reality? He clutches a glowing blue orb, the answer literally in his hands, as the system drops the bombshell. Martial arts here run on pure internal energy. So, even the system's martial arts demand internal energy, which basically means he's gotta commit his whole life to hardcore training if he wants to get good. He meditates, surrounded by swirling blue power, finally accepting the undeniable truth. He's gotta personally grind out these martial arts, tapping into an internal energy system that somehow, uniquely, recognizes him. The system drops some serious knowledge, revealing a sword technique from the martial art world that totally flipped the script. It wasn't about nature's force at all. Nope, martial arts were all about mana in its raw, natural, and super refined form. This, internal energy, was basically supercharged, pure mana locked inside the body, totally different from nature's power but surprisingly similar to the spirit world's mana, just way more potent. So, naturally, this kind of skill needed some seriously refined energy control. And as it all clicked, Aaron's eyes went full-on crimson, radiating a powerful aura as the energy surged through him. Stepping into the eerie realm of the interdimensional exchange merchant, Muhyojeo, Aaron is met by a shadowy figure with a chilling grin and blazing red eyes, who dramatically proclaims his undying love for customers. The merchant's voice reverberates, casually sizing up Aaron as just another living being, another piece of meat, while dramatically lamenting the long wait since his last customer. He swiftly clarifies his unpleasant mood, urging Aaron not to misunderstand, emphasizing once more his agonizing wait for a customer. Aaron, his face half hidden by bandages and one eye burning with a crimson glow, lets out an internal groan, thinking, ugh, another bad customer. Suddenly, a holographic screen flickers to life, revealing the merchant's true identity, Yum Hyojeo, a human, transaction level 1, promising a secure welcome to all warriors. A bone-chilling chuckle escapes the merchant, who then declares he should thank the heavens for this encounter, just as a soft beep signals the transaction's completion. A small, faintly glowing pool of blood stains the ground, as a narration box highlights the fort's vast array of martial arts, only for the merchant's voice to cut in, scoffing at Aaron's pitiful lack of diverse sword techniques. Aaron's glowing eye locks onto his target, finally finding what he needs, even as he internally grumbles about never getting used to this bizarre trading method. It turns out, the merchant, Muhyojeo, is a master of selling random, low-tier martial arts skills for absolutely outrageous prices. The breakdown continues, revealing a three-part sword technique, hailed as absolutely unmatched, promising its master the ultimate title of the world's strongest. But this insane power comes with a brutal 3-year deadline for mastery, a challenge that'll push anyone to their absolute limits. The sheer pressure of that deadline is palpable, with the specter of failure haunting every potential master. Aaron's mind races, processing the sheer scale of it all, and he can't help but feel the price tag for this power is absolutely insane. Then, the enigmatic Muhyojeo drops another bombshell, offering up extra tips and advice for a small, consulting fee. Aaron, knowing there's no other way, just nods, accepting the inevitable. The 5th Murim world's Bamboo Mountain sect is buzzing, and the sect leader is being called. The urgent summons rings out through the massive sect and everyone's asking, what in the world is going on? Sect leader Juzong Ha is on edge, demanding answers. Did they actually find that scoundrel, Hanchiak Li? This is huge news for Juzong Ha, the sect leader of the Bamboo Mountain sect. He's pushing for answers, who gave them this intel, and how did they get it? The Bamboo Mountain sect's 2nd divisional trade manager is on the line, and he's confirming the intel, but is it really solid? But Muhyojeo, with his eyes blazing red, is getting seriously annoyed by all the questions, telling them to slow down. He's making it clear, he took care of their problem, so where's his payment? The trade manager, clearly annoyed, demands to know how they're supposed to pay for intel that just confirms the obvious, suspecting a total scam. But before he can even finish, Aaron's steel guard explodes, his eyes burning with an intense red light, shouting that if the trade manager can't handle it, then Hanchiak Li is his problem, and he'll take him down personally. The trade manager, completely blindsided by the sudden fury, snaps back, asking if he was just called here to be made a fool of. Aaron, with his eyes still blazing, confirms it with a chilling intensity, then drops a bombshell, demanding to know how low-ranked trash could possibly know about the Bamboo Mountain sect's top-secret Yellow Dragon book. The trade manager's mind races, realizing Hanchiak Li might be tied to something huge, but Aaron just scoffs internally at his slowness, already having secured a hefty 200 coins from the sect leader for his intel. He takes a drag, a cloud of smoke escaping his lips, as a single thought echoes, is this truly enough? His eyes ignite with a fierce red glow as the numbers hit him, a shockwave of realization that this amount is absolutely massive, way beyond expectations. He flashes back to the measly 20 coins he'd lost to Muhyojeo, a pittance he just wanted back, totally sure Henchiak Lee would never sniff out his tracks. But for Mu Hyojeo, that 20 gold was a game changer, a total fate-altering moment. Aaron's eyes blaze, his voice a chilling promise, warning of brutal payback for any scamming, but dangling an even bigger bounty for Henchiak Lee's capture. A document exposé drops, revealing Mu Hyojeo's secret alias and the Bamboo Mountain sect's shady cooperation, proving his identity was a total cover-up. He shrugs off the tiny amount he lost compared to Mu Hyojeo's massive score, his heart absolutely thumping with the urge to get back to his system. A system notification pops up, asking if Seokyeon is the ultimate martial arts master, mirroring his own insane stress and total confusion about what to do next. His eyes blaze with fierce determination as he announces he's found the guy hunting the Yellow Dragon Book, the legendary master of the Steelguard family, and he's going to track him down. A mysterious hand glows with power, and a chilling voice demands, kill Seokyeon. Even knowing the system isn't from this world, that burning hatred for Seokyeon. It's not going anywhere. Aaron's Steelguard clutches a fiery red lantern, his eyes blazing with determination as a system alert flashes, Seokyeon just snagged the Yellow Dragon Book. He's not just getting it back, he's delivering it personally. But hold up. A system window pops open, spilling all the tea on Seokyeon. He's a human from System 1, linked to the 5th Murim world, and get this, he's translated a ton of martial arts techniques. Plus, a little side note warns that Mu Hyojeo's business ventures aren't always sunshine and rainbows. His current cash flow and market stats are right there for all to see. The system drops another bombshell, these martial arts techniques. They're often stolen and flipped for insane profits, especially by those from System 1. So, yeah, proceed with extreme caution. Aaron Steelguard scoffs at the system's data, wondering aloud, who in their right mind would buy that lonely sword technique? He instantly labels it overvalued. Seokyeon, facing the ominous Mu Hyojeo, casually mentions that the Bamboo Mountain trade manager is a frequent customer, then curses the cheap bastard and hopes he'll still get a good price. Seokyeon, ever the shrewd dealer, pushes his counterpart to reveal more about themselves. But he quickly shuts down any talk of his own history, calling it rude to even bring up the bastard he was linked to, and warns them not to cross him. Aaron Steelguard, wasting no time, cuts straight to the chase, offering a quick apology before demanding to see Seokyeon's martial arts techniques, knowing he's got some rare ones. Seokyeon, hearing sword techniques, thinks it's a perfect chance to show off. He flashes a technique, and Aaron's impressed, calling it great, but Seokyeon's only thought is, what's the price tag? Aaron, however, flips the script, offering the technique on the house, and then drops a bombshell, 35 coins, a price that's clearly a massive insult. Seokyeon, completely unbothered, coolly lays out his terms, declaring the one-star technique costs 35 coins, a price Aaron can't meet, as Aaron's eyes blaze with an intense red fury. Aaron, absolutely fuming, snaps, demanding to know why Seokyeon's silent, then promises to get his money back, forcing an immediate transaction for the full 35 coins. Seokyeon, taken aback by Aaron's sudden outburst, notes his wealth and sharp eye for techniques, then probes, asking what he's really after. Seokyeon, totally thrown by Aaron's audacity, tries to play it cool, telling him to bounce if he's not serious. But Aaron just smirks, dropping a chilling line about how they'll be seeing a lot more of each other. Seokyeon lets out a dismissive TCH, realizing Aaron's probably talking about all the martial arts secrets he's been peddling. He then straight up kicks Aaron out, yelling that customers like him are not welcome, then sarcastically asks if he'd rather be friends. Aaron's eyes blaze crimson, a system alert confirming his killing intent skill just went live, and with a terrifying grin, he tells Seokyeon to enjoy his laughter while it lasts. Aaron's killing intent hits Seokyeon like a truck, sending him stumbling back, visibly shaking, barely able to gasp out Aaron's name in pure terror. Later, chilling in his fancy room, Aaron's eyes are still faintly glowing red, when he hears someone call his name. A maid pops up, politely excusing herself, and calls him, young master. Aaron, totally caught off guard, instantly shuts down his aura, cursing under his breath, oh shit. He kicks himself for losing control, realizing his killing intent was just spilling out, and he couldn't even hold it back after that whole scene with Seokyeon. Aaron flashes a forced smile, trying to brush off the intense confrontation, declaring, I'm sorry, it's not your fault. A hollow laugh escapes him as he attempts to play it cool, claiming his condition is totally fine, just a little flu. But then, Ezel, a young maid, steps in, relieved to hear he's feeling better. Suddenly, a chilling realization hits him, a silent exclamation of dread. He can't hide it anymore. His raw, untamed aura is leaking, a power he can't control despite his immense potential. Ezel nervously calls out to him, and he tries to keep his cool, inviting her to speak. He attempts to pivot, suggesting they discuss business with his older brother. A sudden, sharp "oh" escapes him as the truth slams home. Ezel lets out a terrified gasp, confirming his worst fears, his power is still radiating, affecting everyone, even her. The morning sun hits a massive training ground, and Maki is already there, facing off against another young man. The blonde-haired youth spins around, and he's not holding back, calling Maki older brother with some serious attitude. But the blonde isn't having it, his voice cutting like a knife. He snaps, "When did I tell you to talk?" Maki, clearly fed up, fires back that he's there to train, not to get lectured. The blonde's face twists into a mask of pure rage, screaming, "Are you crazy?" He lunges, grabbing Maki by the collar and totally trashing his skills, but Maki, caught off guard, tries to defend himself. "I did try, but..." With a fierce glare, the blonde declares, "I have to teach you a lesson first." This is getting intense. Still fuming about Maki always getting special treatment, he throws down the gauntlet. "Take a hit, you brat." It's about to go down. Eren looms over Maki, who's already down and out, a fleeting thought of what if he gets hurt barely registering. He just stares down, calling him Haruin and taunting that he's practically begging for a beatdown. But Maki's eyes ignite with a furious glow, firing back a warning to Eren not to get too cocky. Too late. Maki gets absolutely rocked, sent soaring backward through the air. He skids across the ground, the sheer power of the hit sending him flying even further. Eren just watches, completely unfazed by the damage he's dished out. But then, Maki explodes forward, a powerful aura erupting as he lands a devastating kick that sends Eren flying. Eren stumbles back, his face twisting in shock and confusion, wondering where this insane power came from. Isn't he just an 8th-class mage? Maki, now standing tall, declares he's done holding back, while Eren is left reeling, wondering if he just got caught slipping. This was it, the real start of the warrior's journey, the ultimate test for any top-tier knight. But Eren was just stunned, yelling, "Are you crazy? Why are you doing this?" Even with Maki going all out, Eren was a high-class knight, and there was no way he was going to lose this fight. Maki's attack was absolutely insane, making Eren shout, "This is totally overboard." His eyes blazing, Eren declared he'd use this chance to school Maki properly. Eren lunged, going all out, a massive thwack as he slammed down. Eren let out a shocked "HUEP," as he was forced back, realizing he had no choice but to unleash his own abilities. Maki was seriously bringing the heat. Then, Maki, glowing with intense blue energy, roared, "Stone Destruction Punch." The punch landed with an explosive "kwang," a massive impact rocking the entire area. Eren's face contorted in disbelief and agony, screaming, What the hell is going on?" Eren lets out a choked gasp as Maki's punch absolutely rocks him, blue energy exploding from the impact. He's sent absolutely flying, a blue streak across the sky as he hurtles towards the massive structure. His expression is pure, unadulterated shock, he can't even process what just hit him. He's down, but not out, glaring up at Maki and practically screaming, demanding to know how he got so powerful. Maki just coolly looks down at his brother, dropping the bomb that Eren totally misjudged him. Eren, still stunned, shouts back, asking if this insane power is from the outer story. He needs answers now. Maki shuts down the outer story theory, dropping the bombshell that it's all about a secret technique and Eren should know, since he was the only other one in that secret dimension with their dad. Eren's jaw drops in pure disbelief, shouting that he's never been to any secret dimension and demanding to know what Maki is even talking about. Then, a horrifying thought hits him, his own father must have hidden the secret dimension from him, giving it to Maki instead. He'd always aimed to be a decent lord, even if not as great as his father, but now, every insult, every doubt, rings true. The secret dimension his father supposedly entered. He was completely in the dark. Suddenly, a maid breaks his thoughts, her voice cutting through the silence, "Young master." He snaps out of it, turning to the maid, a grim realization on his face, his strength had definitely grown. She nods, a knowing look in her eyes, telling him not to worry, she's always got his back. He then asks if she's heard anything about the inner storage, and she promises to be his eyes and ears. He gives a small smile, appreciating her loyalty. She simply nods, a silent promise. His mind already racing, he knows he needs to find a way into that inner storage, it's the key to everything. And then it hits him, the academy, it's his last resort, his only path forward. But across town, a wave of shock hits him, a desperate thought screaming in his head, no way, this can't be happening. He's in some fancy room, face totally blank, while a young woman stares him down. She's thinking about how she might have totally messed up for her older brother, Joanna Steelguard, Levadan's second daughter. But Eren's mind is racing with suspicion, absolutely certain that bastard is hiding something huge, and he's gonna find out what it is. Joanna, still watching him like a hawk, is dying to know how much he's figured out, but she's gonna get to the bottom of it. Seriously, who hasn't heard about his shady plans? She's made up her mind, as a Steelguard, she won't be anyone's pawn, and there's no way she's letting him back into the family. Nope, not happening. Her mind races, realizing he's not just some idiot, but something far more dangerous, a total tiger. Eren's piercing stare mirrors that same thought, he might just be a tiger too. He stands before her, a quiet determination in his gaze, as he states his need to uncover the truth. Meanwhile, Joanna, observing from a distance, considers the implications of his actions, believing he is making a mistake and that she should handle the situation herself. She resolves to ensure that she will get to the very bottom of whatever he is hiding, her eyes narrowing with a fierce resolve. Elsewhere, a critical system alert flashes, indicating a lack of intervention and a warning: they cannot let this slide. The Stoneheart protocol is activated, confirming the assessment: he is right, and everyone must acknowledge it. In a control room, Siakan urgently commands everyone to stop, his voice cutting through the tension. The system displays a consensus: he is right, and an apology is due. Further system messages confirm the decision, acknowledging the correctness of the action taken. Maki, however, questions Siakan's judgment, asking if he will simply stand by and allow the arrogance to continue. A new, formidable figure emerges, his gaze sharp as he lays down the law: it's time to strategize and capture Arun, that absolute menace. Aaron Steelguard catches the system alert: medium-grade mana crystals are already plummeting in price, crashing from 2.5 to a mere 2 coins. Pouring a casual cup of tea, he instantly grasps the market's brutal truth: mana crystals are tanking hard. It's a classic oversupply crash, everyone dumping their stock, igniting a cutthroat, destructive competition. But he just shrugs it off: not my problem, he thinks, still raking in the cash thanks to his exclusive VIP perks. Sitting on a cool 1,002 coins, plus 12 low-grade and 22 medium-grade mana crystals in his bag, he instantly decides to bulk up his inventory, even if it means risking some damage. He knows the profit margins will shrink, but ultimately, he's cool with it: still a solid play. Things are moving faster than expected, but Aaron Steelguard is totally in control, feeling like he can absolutely crush this challenge. He's thinking about how he would have just folded before, but now. It's crunch time, a make-or-break moment. His eyes blaze with pure determination as he vows to Siakan, screaming for payback from his last life. Then, he locks onto 3 pulsating red orbs, declaring he's going to unleash every single power-up he's got. Suddenly, the guardian of the Library of the Heavenly Records pops up, dropping a bombshell question: so, what's it gonna be? What do you pick? Aaron's face is pure steel as he declares giving up is not happening. He's going all in on this rebirth, but he can feel it: he needs more power. He then turns to the Guardian, demanding to know if there's anything even more ridiculously powerful hidden away. A system alert flashes, showing off a list of insane skills, but warns that the basic unique ultimate skill is too good to sell. Aaron's mind races to the legendary Thousand Sword Castle, a sect that's basically a superpower even in the 5th Murim system, just blown away by its sheer scale. The Thousand Sword Castle, a powerhouse of unique ultimate skills, completely outclasses the Bamboo Mountain sect. Aaron turns to the Guardian, declaring: yo, there's something I gotta check out. The Guardian, ever composed, replies: alright, hit me. What's up? Aaron, taken aback by the speed, blurts out: whoa, seriously? The Guardian clarifies: dude, I thought you weren't showing up. Been waiting all day. Here's that thing you wanted yesterday. Aaron, eyeing the interface, remarks: okay, I expected you to get both, but you're seriously quick. The Guardian, slightly flustered, replies: oh, I guess I was waiting, can I? Anything else you need? Aaron, a glint in his eye, confirms: oh yeah, there's definitely more. Much more. Picking up right where they left off, Aaron drops a name: Hafiel, a super rich dude he works for, who's apparently obsessed with martial arts. Aaron lays it out: Hafiel isn't just into any old martial arts scroll, so he seriously needs the Guardian's top-tier help. The Guardian, ever the professional, smoothly agrees, promising to help with anything. Suddenly, Aaron's eyes flash red as he UPS the ante, hinting he's not here for small favors, but something massive. The Guardian's face goes blank for a second, clearly trying to figure out what big thing Aaron could possibly want. Then it hits him: Aaron must be after the Thousand Sword Castle's legendary ultimate skill, a request so huge it makes the Guardian visibly flinch. Surrounded by ancient texts, the Guardian wonders if even he can pull off this insane request. Suddenly, a glowing screen pops up, flashing vital intel: it's Siakan, connected to the 1.5 th Murim system, a level 1 trainee who knows useful martial arts, all for 500 coins. With a heavy sigh, the Guardian finally gives in, accepting the monumental challenge. Rewind a few hours. Aaron was laying out his audacious plan to his crew, acknowledging the massive risk but assuring them he'd put up the collateral. He stressed the absolute necessity of getting Hafiel, the legendary master of the Thousand Sword Castle, to spill their ultimate secrets, a challenge he knew was borderline impossible. Aaron's mind then locked onto the ultimate skill he craved, his focus laser-sharp on Siakan and the insane martial arts he wielded. He understood that if Hafiel wasn't swayed, he was a dead man walking, a chilling truth he embraced as he casually stretched, gazing out the window. Back in the present, Aaron pressed the Guardian for that deposit, and after a beat, the Guardian finally caved, agreeing to assist. Suddenly, a system alert blared, revealing 200 records tied to Eren had been unearthed, and the Guardian, now smiling, promised to have everything ready. The Guardian then made his exit, pondering the whole mess, muttering under his breath that getting caught was absolutely not an option. Eren, however, hit a major roadblock in his grand scheme, the massive problem being his total inability to directly reach Siaken. Meanwhile, Siaken chilled solo on a park bench, completely oblivious to the intricate web of schemes being spun right around him. Eren Steelguard checks his system, only to find his middle-grade mana crystal stock is plummeting. Should he buy from the system? He's definitely thinking about it. He tries to snag some mana crystal plus, but the system hits him with a hard no. It's like it's personally refusing him, telling him it ain't selling him squat. The system just keeps going, throwing shade and telling him to forget about getting anything, ever. Totally baffled by the system's beef, Eren's like, does that even make sense? While he's still reeling from the system's shade, a weird vibe hits him, making him snap his head up and wonder, what's happening? Meanwhile, Joanna's got her eyes on him, looking all serious and ready for something. Then, bam. She's right there, smacking him hard across the face. Totally blindsided, Eren's left speechless, just staring. Joanna, however, isn't backing down, her fists clenched, eyes blazing with pure fury. The Steelguard family was a house divided, especially when it came to their two daughters, who couldn't be more different. The elder daughter was a ray of sunshine, and Eren, the youngest, was a genius everyone adored, but Levadon, the second daughter, was just, cold and totally unsociable. Joanna's face is stone cold as she lays down the law, telling the maid that wasn't the answer she wanted and she's going to ask again, what is Arun hiding? The maid looks totally lost, admitting she has no idea what to do, and that's why she's not doing anything at all. Joanna's patience snaps, and she yells at her older sister. Suddenly, Eren steps in from behind the maid, telling Joanna to back off. Joanna Steelguard, radiating an icy aura, confronts the maid, demanding to know why she's even there. But Eren, her brother, cuts in, demanding to know what she's doing to his maid, his voice sharp with protective instinct. Joanna just scoffs, questioning when he suddenly became so invested in the maid, a clear challenge in her voice. Unfazed, she doubles down, grilling the maid about Eren's secrets, her intensity unyielding. Joanna lunges forward, her hand shooting out towards the maid, who recoils instantly in terror. A harsh quack echoes as the maid's eyes widen, bracing for impact. Eren's voice rips through the air, a sharp command for Joanna to halt, his protective instincts fully engaged. He moves with lightning speed, seizing Joanna's arm to shield the maid, his resolve unshakable. Joanna thrashes in his grasp, yelling for him to let her go, her anger boiling over. The maid lets out a terrified "weck" as she flinches back, and Eren, with unwavering resolve, doubles down on his words. Shoving his sister back with a powerful push, demanding she back off from the maid. Joanna's eyes blaze with fury, snapping that he must have lost his mind for caring about a mere maid. Eren's face is stone cold, ordering her to apologize to the maid, emphasizing that she's a person too. His words hit Joanna like a physical blow, leaving her utterly stunned and seething. The maid, still sprawled on the ground, stares up bewildered as Joanna, snapping back to reality, hisses, "Why are you suddenly slapping me?" Eren scoffs, utterly unimpressed, telling her to drop the arrogant act. He silently questions her audacity to cause such harm, his thoughts flashing back to a younger, more hopeful version of himself, one who dreamed of being a decent lord, even if he couldn't live up to his father's legendary status. But Joanna shatters his thoughts, snapping that he always manages to outdo her expectations, then demands to know what he just said. The tension is palpable as the young woman vehemently denies any involvement, but the young master isn't having it, his voice dropping to a chilling threat, "Keep your mouth shut, or I'll end you." She screams her innocence again, her face a mask of fury and terror, but he just stares her down, a chilling "oh yeah." Then, hanging in the air. She turns, offering to just leave with her father to end this nightmare, a move that clearly shocks him to his core. A frustrated groan rips from her, her mind reeling with one burning question: how did Eren even find out about any of this? In a shocking turn, Eren drops to his knees before her, his fury gone, replaced by a genuine apology, confessing his fault. He rises, his gaze fixed on her with fierce resolve, vowing to prevent any repeat of this mess. His face softens as he asks, "Ezel, are you all right?" his concern radiating. Tears well up and stream down Ezel's face as she lets out a choked sob, the profound truth hitting her: she is truly one of his own. A sharp thwack punctuates the air as Eren's face twists into a mask of pure fury, his eyes blazing with an unshakable vow: "If anyone dares to touch my people, I'll kill them. No matter who they are." Siaken's mind races, fixated on the Emperor, while Eren, ever the leader, keeps his gaze on Ezel, who can only look up, a mix of awe and fear in her eyes. He lays it all out, telling her she's worthy, demanding her understanding, and she can only manage a soft yes. But Ezel's mind is blown, utterly baffled by how he dug up these secrets, especially when he's dropping hints about the Emperor being his source. No way, how could Aaron possibly know this stuff? It's a total head-scratcher. Elsewhere, a sharp-eyed, white-haired man, puffing on a cigarette, is totally stumped by the maidman's skill. How can you see through lies but still be forced to obey the emperor? He's convinced it's a paradox, declaring it makes zero sense. His blue eyes blaze with an almost supernatural intensity as he challenges the very idea. Could anyone really pierce the emperor's lies? He's certain it should be a cakewalk for a maid's man, if that skill is legit. Then, a lightning bolt of an idea hits him. Stone seller, someone so desperate for cash they'd spill anything, and his eye snaps open, a new theory forming. He fixates on the stone seller idea, mulling over whether the person he's got in mind fits the bill. A system pop-up confirms his identity. Spider's human, an expert merchant whose stats and gear scream veteran status, yet he's plagued by a strange sense of unfamiliarity, a feeling that something is off. A new player, the stone seller, enters the scene, emphasizing that immediate gains trump future promises. It's a cutthroat world where even quick transactions are essential when coins are desperately needed. But the trading house is in chaos, with a troublemaker stirring up even more problems. Siakan, however, shuts down one idea as completely impossible, demanding to know what other moves are left. The only play: drive down the mana crystal prices even further than the competition. And it works. The Merchant Alliance slashes prices, sending customers into a buying frenzy. The market explodes with a mix of panic and greed, some drowning in debt, others frantically hoarding, convinced the rock-bottom prices won't last. The mid-grade mana crystal prices are in freefall, now averaging a shocking 5.5 coins. Siakan jolts awake, absolutely floored by the chaos, while Aaron, from his own bed, knows he's got to step in, realizing the whole situation is screaming for his touch. With a furious green glow around his hand, he practically screams for answers, like, "Didn't I say dropping prices would bring infinite benefits?" He confesses he totally didn't see this coming, only pushing the price drop to stop even bigger cuts, even if his original pitch was a total bluff. Believing Aaron is actively trying to trash his reputation, Siakan shrugs off the mind games, basically saying, "Fine, distrust me all you want." He admits his predictions were totally off, but only if you're just gonna roll over and give in to that troublemaker. The mere idea of giving in to that guy makes him absolutely explode, and he screams that it's never, ever going to happen. He then dares Aaron to trust him again, a challenge that hangs heavy as Aaron's shadowy figure seems to hit him back with a silent "what?" Aaron, with his eyes burning bright in the shadows, drops the bombshell. He's got a secret plan locked and loaded to shut down that troublemaker. Spider Human drops a bombshell, declaring the Lord's coins aren't human, straight up saying this guy is not human. He's digging into the troublemaker's strategy, pointing out the brutal pattern: we drop one coin, he drops two. But here's the kicker: his price hasn't budged, staying exactly the same as theirs since yesterday. Staring at a glowing screen, he figures the enemy is totally hiding their power, wondering if they're missing a huge piece of the puzzle, especially if this person can perfectly mask their true strength. He's done with guessing the enemy's power, declaring they need to expand their sphere and crystal business instead. A voice from the screen challenges him, asking if that's just a waste of time, and points out they're already maxed out. But he fires back with another option: form an alliance, just like they did before, asking if that wasn't the whole point of the Multimalies. The glowing screen flashes a single, shocked word: what? Spider Human's got that devious grin, laying out his master plan to dominate the mana crystal market, bringing all the sellers under his thumb. Siakan's jaw drops, calling out the chairman's insane greed. Was this the plan all along? He can't believe he's turning into a villain. But then, a twist. Siakan's hand tightens, and he actually admits he admires the chairman, saying this whole villain thing doesn't feel so bad after all. Spider Human lets out a chilling laugh, his eyes flaring with an intense red glow, a powerful aura erupting around him as his true sight awakens. Engulfed in a blazing red aura, he shouts that he can see every enemy's weakness, all because he just wants to be a super-rich merchant. Suddenly, a system alert blazes across the screen, announcing that the sanctification system and a game-breaking special privilege, asymmetry of information. Still glowing with power, he stares at a holographic display, revealing he predicted this alliance from the moment he started selling mana crystals, even though he kept a low profile. He breaks down his insane power, a special privilege that gives him intel no one else can get. He knows people won't get it, but for him, information is power. Then, another system pop-up drops, confirming he's been a secret member of the Multimalies since day one, even if nobody knew it. He keeps going, laying out the cold, hard truth: these brutal competitions. They're just a setup for massive profits. Two kinds of players dominate this game: the ones who are absolutely desperate for instant cash. Then, with a terrifying glint in his eye, he drops the bomb: everyone in this game. They're all going down together. The other players are the long-game strategists, like Hearthstone, the Alliance's big boss, who are just biding their time, waiting for the ultimate power play. He points out that if Hearthstone already owned the mana crystal market, he wouldn't even be in this competition in the first place. For these guys, rushing in is a no-go, which means this whole chaotic mess is actually their dream come true for a long-term takeover. Sieken's jaw drops as it clicks, realizing that letting Hearthstone think he's in control is just one piece of a massive, intricate scheme. The regular Multimali's members are still clueless about what's really going on, but a few are already making their moves, going on the offensive. And by meticulously watching the brutal competition unfold between them and the Multimalis, he's going to unlock an even deeper, more powerful insight into the entire market. Spider-Human drops another bombshell, revealing their enemies aren't just playing games, they're bringing in a third party to snatch all the mana crystals. He scoffs at the idea of holding on to them, calling it impossible and just common sense, then declares it's time to bounce, dropping a mic drop command, "Here, and obey." Meanwhile, a woman is freaking out, alone at a table, her brain on overdrive trying to figure out how he found out. Her worry skyrockets as she remembers he even dropped the name of the firm, the Damien firm. Huni pops up, and the woman freaks out, terrified, he found her, calling out to Huni as her older sister. She quickly tells Huni they shouldn't talk about the thing, her face etched with pure dread. Huni, totally lost, asks what the thing is, and she spells it out, you know. Damien firm. She motions him in, their intense conversation far from over. The Damien firm, a name now loaded with tension, is famous for supplying homes. And it's a powerhouse, stable and respected. But here's the kicker, it's owned by the Steelguard family, a deal sealed when the firm bought their land and pumped cash into the family coffers. Inside, Huni confesses he's mostly in the dark, just heard about the insane money he could make there. His sister, clearly agitated, demands to know how he even caught wind of such an obvious rumor. Then, she drops a bombshell, asking about the other Huni, the one who's his equal but way higher up the ladder, leaving him speechless. She clarifies that this rumor has been out there forever, and she came to him specifically to see if he'd heard it too. Her frustration boils over, she's been telling him to keep quiet, trying to protect him, but he just keeps ignoring her. He fires back, demanding to know what scares her so much. Huni, calling her sister, cuts to the chase, only one thing truly freaks him out. He then hits her with the real question, did she find him first, or did she go begging them for help? She sets the record straight, they came to her first, just for a favor, but somehow, she ended up working for the firm. Huni can't believe a powerhouse like Damien would be so sloppy, but his sister's words about fear and weakness hit him hard. Then, a new face, a young man with light brown hair, cuts in, practically daring them to criticize him, insisting he's there for a whole other reason. Huni's sister, though, is already thinking about how to win him over, pointing out their shared predicament before a heavy sigh escapes her. Huni is totally blindsided, challenging the guy's motives, and demanding to know what he's really after. Darren then turns to Huni's sister, cutting straight to the chase, and suggests they team up. Her eyes go wide, a shockwave of surprise hitting her face. Darren leans in, a confident smirk spreading across his face, asking if this isn't an offer they can't possibly refuse. A massive, ancient castle looms, bathed in an otherworldly glow. Inside, Joanna drops a bombshell on Aaron, declaring, then, I'll leave it to you. Aaron, ever cool, just replies, alright, I'll tell you the details later. But as she walks off, Aaron's mind races, realizing that whole conversation was just a web of lies. Yet, he can't help but think, it wasn't a total disaster for now. Joanna keeps walking, dropping another bomb, she's teaming up with Siakan. Now she just has to wait and see how it all plays out in the long run. Suddenly, a loud "Tta jolts Aaron. He stares at his device, thinking, what's this first message, already? He scans the glowing text on his screen, a quiet "oh" escaping him as he reads, you received 10 bamboo pill of life from the Bamboo Mountain sect. The camera zooms in on the hexagonal box, showing 10 glowing pills, and Aaron can't believe it, what? He gave me more. Still processing the insane gift, he clutches the bamboo pill of life, a fierce red glow igniting in his eye. But across the realm, for those savvy enough to use the dimensional transaction book, a massive gold mine had just opened up. He had to get more, but where? Not here, no way. Only the super-rich could even dream of entering the places where these treasures were found. He then dives into the brutal multimillionaire price wars, as Maki reveals that these high-stakes auctions only happen once a day, and that Hearthstone was playing its own game. Maki watches, realizing his master was playing chess, not checkers, trying to minimize his losses. Now it made sense why he'd wasted 4 coins earlier, pure genius. But Aaron wasn't satisfied, he needed way more. And then it hits him, a massive discount for members of the Bamboo Mountain sect. Suddenly, a system notification explodes, confirming the bamboo pill of life's discovery, with a warning about its fragility. But Aaron's not stopping there, he's going for everything. A chilling, confident grin stretches across his face, his eye blazing with unstoppable ambition. A system notification just dropped, confirming 1 Moon Crystal Plus and 2 Moon Crystal Plus have been discovered, and Eren Steelguard is absolutely losing it, screaming that he's freaking rich now. Talk about a power-up. Later that night, we're heading to the mysterious Damien firm. What's going down here? Eren, with a mysterious robed figure by his side, is making a grand entrance at the firm. But a guard tries to shut them down, telling them they can't just waltz in like that. The robed guy, not having any of it, just straight up demands the manager. The guard is totally taken aback, stuttering in surprise. Then, the robed man drops the bomb, telling the guard to inform the manager that Sir Yulaf is here. The guard's jaw hits the floor. Just like that, the guard does a complete 180, bowing super low and practically begging them to come in, saying they were waiting for Sir Yulaf and Damien is inside. The guard leads the way, ushering Eren Steelguard and his mysterious robed companion down a sleek corridor. They step into a grand chamber, and the guard dramatically announces their presence, declaring that Sir Yulaf himself has arrived. The man reveals himself as Damien, the team leader, and extends a formal welcome. The guard's mind is racing, stunned by the sheer audacity and influence of the robed figure, wondering how this kid could possibly know someone like that and vowing to get confirmation from his superior. Yeah, that's probably what everyone's thinking right now. Damien, cool as a cucumber, confidently states that a massive shipment is coming, just as promised. Now at the negotiation table, moon crystals gleaming, Eren cuts to the chase, demanding the crystals. Damien, after a careful inspection of the sample, gets down to business, asking how much they're willing to shell out. But then he raises a brow, wondering if it's really that hard to get these with just one sample. Darren dramatically reveals a small bag, declaring this is the exact reason he brought it. He demands they take a look as the bag bursts open, unleashing a dazzling cascade of glowing blue crystals. Flashback. Just 1 hour prior, Eren Steelguard was already deep in his groundbreaking research. Clutching a single, shimmering moon crystal, he declared he had finally cracked the code on their mysterious properties. He laid out the facts for Siakan. These crystals weren't just rare, they were a nightmare to refine, almost impossible to process by hand. Time to dig deeper. Both men intensely studied the glowing gems, with Siakan confessing he'd only ever had a measly 3, and Eren only a single 1. Back to the present. Darren held a crystal, gasping at its delicate beauty and confirming its mana was absolutely top tier. He then threw out a price, 100 gold. But then, he quickly backtracked, admitting that price felt a little steep. Eren, shrouded in his cloak, immediately countered with 80 gold, confidently stating he could get more than anyone else and was ready to pay. Siakan, cutting straight to the chase, tells Joanna to bounce, setting the stage for some intense talks. She's clearly got nothing to say, but still hesitates, before finally giving in, leaving Darren to handle the heat solo. Siakan just watches Darren, thinking a real chat is impossible, but at least the guy knows how to read the vibe. Darren, maybe thinking this deal's dead, blurts out if he'll hit up another firm, then quickly catches himself, remembering he's still in the middle of this one. He shouts, totally caught off guard by the sudden twist, but then it clicks, this was all part of the plan. Siakan, giving Darren props for his grit, finally caves and agrees to the 100 gold. Darren and Joanna are both totally floored by the sudden win. Just as a new, insane price gets dropped, 120 gold. Eren, with eyes practically burning, snaps back, demanding a whopping 120 gold per crystal. Eren Steelguard, once the picture of noble confidence, now appears utterly broken, his face marred by fresh wounds and his eyes hollow with fatigue. What happened to him? Huni's jaw drops. What? 120 gold. No way I'm making a profit like that. Maki, across the table, looks hesitant, thinking, that's a bit much. How am I supposed to sell this without even knowing the price? His face is stone cold, calculating every angle. Huni's eyes practically pop out, a silent scream of pure frustration. Maki, ever the negotiator, tries to sweeten the deal, alright, sit down. I'll consider 120 gold. No money changes hands yet, but I'll think about it. Huni's face twists, only consider, he grumbles, but then, with a flash of determination, he snaps, screw it. He slams his hand on the table, shouting, fine. Let's do it. 120 gold. Deal. Maki can't help but smirk, looking down as Joanna watches him, while Huni is practically doing a victory dance in his head, and his older sister is just as hyped for him. The tension was palpable as the deal hung in the balance. Joanna Steelguard couldn't help but question the logic. How did 120 gold suddenly become a mere 60 after all that back and forth? Facing Huni directly, she pressed him, demanding to know if he was hiding another ace up his sleeve. A frustrated sigh escaped her lips, as Joanna laid out the harsh truth. 100 gold was the absolute maximum she could get for this, no more. Huni's face contorted in pure outrage, his voice booming as he scoffed at the idea of being left with a measly 60 gold. Are you serious? He wasn't backing down, insisting that his labor costs had to be covered. He wasn't about to work for peanuts. The gold bag sat there, gleaming, and it looked pretty good to anyone else. But Huni was not impressed, his face a mask of fury as he stared at the gold, feeling completely disrespected. Is this seriously all you've got? His eyes narrowed, and he laid down his ultimatum, 300. Total. The gold bag, still sitting there, looked perfectly fine, Huni's complaints notwithstanding. Maki breaks down the numbers, pointing out the labor and transport fees, insisting Huni would still be losing out no matter how he crunched it. As Joanna chimes in, reminding them that a mana crystal's value is all about its purity. She presses on, arguing that 100 gold was already a generous offer, even if they couldn't go higher, so 300 gold was just an insane ask. But Huni just shrugs it off, a silent thought running through his mind, it wouldn't have mattered even if he'd been totally crushed in the talks. Maki finally gives in, simply stating, understood, and Joanna quickly follows up, assuring them this deal would be a win-win. Deal sealed, Maki leans back, a hint of awe in his voice as he confesses Huni had blown past all his expectations. Joanna flashes a knowing smile, declaring she couldn't care less about his methods, just that he sticks to his promise. But Maki's mind still churns, a suspicious glint in his eye as he wonders why Huni never once focused on the mana crystals themselves, the real prize. Waving off the accusation, Siakan just laughs it off, playing innocent. He casually explains it was just curiosity, and he just picked up a few tidbits about Huni. But Maki is not having it, clearly annoyed, while Huni looks stunned, as Maki snaps, asking when he learned to turn his ears. Huni, totally caught off guard by the sudden drama, shouts out, confused by Maki's intense reaction. Maki grits his teeth, clearly pissed, declaring Huni doesn't need to know anything about that person. Suddenly, a sharp, internal blow hits him, spitting blood as he yells, I already knew that. He's suddenly overcome by a brutal coughing fit, the sound ripping through the air. Still gasping for air, Maki keeps coughing, hand clamped over his mouth. But then, a chilling, almost insane laugh bursts from him, his eyes wide with a disturbing, new understanding. Maki's face just shatters in a silent scream, his eyes blown wide with pure agony and disbelief as Siakan's words hit him like a truck. He clutches his chest, a guttural grunt tearing from him, then forces out a strained, excuse me, trying to bail from the conversation. Siakan watches, a hint of worry on his face, while Joanna just studies the whole thing, already calculating how this sudden illness messes with their schedule. Maki, now totally chill, smirks to himself, realizing his little act just let him dodge a bullet and avoid some seriously tough questions. Joanna's eyes are locked on, her face a total mystery as she tries to figure out what just went down. Later, strolling through a busy street, Maki turns to Joanna, his whole vibe changing as he declares they're finally alone, the sick act totally gone. He then hits her with a direct question about her younger sister, making Joanna instantly demand to know who he is and what he's really after. He stands before Joanna, who demands to know why he kept her in the dark about his schemes, but he coolly shuts her down, declaring it's absolutely none of her concern. He then throws the question back at her, scoffing at the idea that he's ignorant of local customs, and demanding to know how else she thinks he's been able to keep things smooth despite his position. But Joanna, with a flash of insight, fires back, declaring, it's because of me. Coolly turning away, Maki corrects her with a smirk, revealing the real reason, Darren Steelguard's guarantee. Strolling away, he casually remarks that her involvement complicates things, suggesting that if he were to vanish, she'd be completely on her own. Joanna glares after him, her face a mask of irritation, grumbling that his awkward acting is just too much to bear. He keeps walking, putting more distance between them. He throws a quick, knowing glance back, a silent admission that, just like Darren, Joanna is incredibly sharp. Joanna, meeting his eyes, cuts straight to the chase, ordering him to spit it out. Joanna, absolutely fuming, points a finger right at him, calling out Aruan's trap. The hooded figure just stares, then a quiet, almost mocking, pfft escapes him. Joanna's patience snaps, she practically screams, what are you laughing at? He tries to hold back another snicker, thinking, who in their right mind thinks 30,000 gold is a small goal? He quickly tries to backtrack, saying he didn't mean it like that, then genuinely asks, so, what's a big goal to you? Joanna's face burns red with rage, spilling that she heard the money was from Aruan and he was just going to give it away to someone else. Completely fed up, she yells, are you crazy? Move it. A sudden flashback hits, showing a younger Maki realizing that as he got older, family became the only people he could ever truly rely on. Joanna, turning away, gives him some harsh advice, try to get along with your family better, she warns, don't regret it later. Still reeling from the confrontation, she sits in the opulent hall, her eyes locked on the mysterious cloaked figure, a single, cutting thought burning in her mind, like me. But Maki, ever the enigma, simply brushes her off with a casual wave, ordering her to wait in the carriage. Then, without another word, he turns his back, casually mentioning he'll send the compensation through Aruan. That nonchalant dismissal, that utter disregard, sparks a furious inferno within her, leaving her to explode internally. Man, what the hell? And as he simply walks away, leaving her fuming, her frustration reaches a boiling point. Under the moon's watchful eye, the Steelguard castle looms, a silent giant in the night. Inside, Eren Steelguard is chilling, but his mind is racing over a recent deal, the duchy's final offer for the red-green mana stone. A measly 100,000 gold. He knows it's a total ripoff, a massive loss, even without counting the irreplaceable mana he burned just to get it. Frustration boils over, his eyes flashing red as he remembers bringing back just a handful of those stones, only for them to be dismissed as trash. Meanwhile, Siaken is laying it on thick with Joanna, reminding her he turned down a marriage proposal that would have boosted their family, basically telling her to play nice with him. Eren just walks off, and Joanna mumbles a quick apology to her brother, her eyes glued to the floor. Back in his room, Eren's rage ignites once more, his eyes blazing red as he replays those words, convinced he'd have to go undercover just to say something like that. But being a Steelguard means no one would ever talk to him like that, and his own pride wouldn't even let him try. Eren takes a moment to reflect, realizing his current path is a radical departure from everything he once knew. No more grudges, no more malice, he's shedding the past, because a new, burning objective has taken over his entire being. Forget the past, there's a new mission, a new obsession. A mysterious blue energy pulses as he feels it, he's so close, just a hair's breadth from Siaken. Suddenly, a blazing red aura ignites around his head, his gaze now a fiery inferno of pure resolve. Get ready for a crash course in economics. In the Golden Kingdom, it's all about golden stem, but to us humans, it's just plain old gold. But here's the kicker, gold is super rare and not even used as actual money, with the system slapping on strict sale limits of 5,000 and 25,000 units. After a massive overnight sale, Eren dives into his account, ready to see his coin count explode. With his eyes burning red, he locks in the completed transactions. Then, a sudden Byrek blares from the interface, a new message flashing on screen. His eyes snap open in recognition, it's finally here. His finger hovers over accept, but a sudden no screams in his mind. He can't just accept it, he can't look desperate. He takes a deep breath to calm his nerves, gotta play it cool. But a fierce determination ignites in his eyes, the choice is made. With a decisive yeek, his finger slams down on accept, sealing his fate. The moment Eren hit accept, a new chat window exploded into view. It was Siaken, hitting him with a thank you for waiting, and a cheeky you're exactly on time. Siaken, with a sly grin and tablet in hand, played it cool. Oh, what are you here? He asked, then quickly pivoted, why so grumpy? I better be on time. Seriously, everything's finally falling into place. But his thoughts were a different story, he knew he'd said too much, worried Eren would catch on, and swore to keep his secrets locked down. Eren's face instantly registered shock, it clicked, Siaken was talking about him. He was always the late one, after all. Then, with a flourish, Siaken offered to reveal the message. The message was a bombshell, he'd been chosen for the heavenly I Ching technique, a legendary secret known only to the Grand Master and the Inner Circle. Eren's eyes blazed crimson, his face set in a grim line as he processed the message, it was obvious, whoever sent this was not happy with him. Back with Siaken, a sly smirk crept onto his face, he knew this meant Maki was about to get a serious boost. Eren's mind raced, how could anyone learn this sacred inner cultivation technique, meant only for the Lord of the Natural World? Was it Raphael? He needed answers, and he needed them now. Siaken keeps the message going, promising total honesty, but then he's talking about a measly 2,500 coins, saying it's nothing compared to the insane power of the heavenly I Ching technique. Eren's still reeling from the technique info when Siaken drops another bomb, he's the successor of the Lord of the Natural World, promising to make Eren the strongest, then out of nowhere, says he needs a bodyguard. Eren's face is pure confusion and disbelief, his mind just replaying Siaken's crazy claims, wondering what this guy's even doing with such power if he needs a bodyguard. Siaken keeps going, dropping a bombshell, he's been scammed by tons of people in his past life, admitting he's in a totally pathetic situation right now. Eren's still totally lost, thinking he knows nothing about this, but Siaken's message keeps coming, insisting a bodyguard is about survival, telling Eren to trust him, and promising to help. Then, he drops the ultimate offer, the best training to turn Eren into an absolute expert. Eren's eyes go wide, a hopeful, really, escaping him, wondering if it's actually possible. Siaken, still deep in thought about his past, declares their meeting must be destiny, calling himself a hermit who's terrible at avoiding losses, but he's gonna give it his all. He doubles down, promising to help Eren in every way possible, telling him to ask for anything he needs during training, and swearing to cover all his expenses. Completely blown away by the incredible offer, Eren literally jumps for joy, shouting his thanks. Eren faces the brutal reality, everything they said about him. It's all true. Despite dreaming of becoming a decent lord, a shadow of his father's greatness, his past tells a different story. A surge of pure frustration ignites his eyes, flashing back to a moment he demanded, "So, how much are you willing to sell it for?" The scene snaps to a smirking older man, glasses glinting, hyping up his unprecedented deal, and Aaron, naive, actually considers it. Then the crushing truth slams into him, he was totally scammed. He'd blown his entire allowance, even borrowed from his parents, all because he couldn't earn a single coin. His eyes blaze crimson with fury as he desperately tries to crunch the numbers, demanding, "So, I owe you 3,800 coins, right? Not counting the 200 I already gave you." The scammer just grins, a smug, of course, escaping his lips, as past Aaron curses his own blindness, completely unable to spot the con. The flashback intensifies, Aaron's desperation mounting as he confesses, "I already blew those 200 coins on this technique." His eyes burn with frustration. But the scammer just laughs, completely unfazed by Aaron's misery, pretending to be overwhelmed by the massive coin count, demanding 1,700 instead of a measly 1 or 2. Tears stream down Aaron's face as he finally breaks, utterly defeated, deciding to just take whatever he could salvage, knowing that the technique he'd bought was a total bust. He's locked onto the holographic interface, a system message flashing, telling him the other side is ready to roll, just waiting for his move. The screen blazes red as he fumes, this is totally a ripoff. They're trying to play him, especially with those skill slot sales going on. Slumped on his bed, he's still short 25 coins, even with all his noble perks. What a joke. The glowing scale mocks him with the exact amount needed, just 25 measly coins. Pure frustration on his face, he's broke, there's a sale, and he's got no other option. He's agonizing over how much he'll lose if he doesn't jump on this deal right now. His eyes blaze crimson as he shrugs off all doubt, he's buying it no matter what. He remembers that technique he got before. With those glowing eyes, he recalls talking to Haffel about it, yeah, 25 coins isn't terrible, but it's definitely not some everyday technique either. Meanwhile, Sieken's got that smug grin, totally loving this whole situation. The holographic screen seals the deal, the trade between Arun and Siekyun is officially going down. With a final, desperate gamble, his hand hovers over the glowing interface, locking in the deal for the cultivation technique of Chaos Secret Arts. But across the digital divide, a smug finger points down, as the trickster gloats, "My prey has taken the bait," he cackles, a tiny, smug figure watching as Aaron's eyes blaze crimson, a terrifying error message screaming across his vision as the trap springs shut. In an instant, reality shatters. He's ripped from his world, now in ancient robes, trapped on a pulsating, rune-covered platform, staring into a terrifying, bottomless void. A pulsating red device hums with ominous energy, setting the stage for something big. The system flashes, trade completed. Aaron's eyes blaze crimson, a wicked grin splitting his face as his master plan, his trap, finally springs into action. He scans the message, "Haffel's trade accepted, but you got nothing." This only makes his wicked smile grow wider, pure satisfaction radiating from him. But wait. His eyes practically burn, a maniacal grin spreading as he screams, he finally gets it. This is what revenge feels like, and it's absolutely thrilling. He glances up, a chilling thought echoing, the best part. He's not even the one doing the deceiving. He can't wait to see the look on their face. A new system message pops up, thanking him for the trade and asking him to thank Haffel, and he just smirks, oh, someone's excited. Elsewhere, Siaken grins, a smug look on his face, it was almost too easy to make them all fall for his brilliant trick. He's got that smirk, that knowing look, just wondering how the other guy's gonna react to his master plan. But then, out of nowhere, a voice interrupts, demanding to know what's going on. Siaken's face totally changes, faking surprise, like he's got no clue what's happening or why he's being questioned. But that innocent look vanishes, replaced by a sinister grin as he finally drops the act, calling out Jung Si-kyun as the ultimate fraud. His words just hang there, a brutal call-out to Jung Si-kyun. His eyes start to glow with a sinister red, and a chilling thought pops into his head, is librarian Jung Si-kyun on this or totally clueless? Still smirking, he presses on, challenging their nerve to pull off these stunts. The other person visibly flinches, a silent admission that Siaken's words hit hard. Stunned by the bombshell, he could only gasp, what the hell? How did he know who I really am? He tried to play it cool, muttering, no way he knows, but Siaken just smirked, doesn't matter what you think. Siaken's eyes blazed crimson, and he sneered, hey, Jung-sik. Don't make a fool of yourself. Panicked, he stammered, shouldn't we get a third party to check, but the truth was, he couldn't deny it, and Siaken knew why. Siaken, eyes still glowing, cut him off with a sharp stop, then dropped the ultimate bomb, I am Jung Si-kyun. You can't deny it. With a chilling gaze, Siaken internally questioned, what the hell is he, knowing full well this imposter wasn't the real deal. A sinister grin spread across his face, as Siaken declared, the truth is. I am the real Jung Si-kyun, and reminded everyone that liars are always afraid. Richard Kim, his true name now exposed by a system pop-up, could only gape in horror as his System O class and rank were revealed. His hand shook with rage and fear, as Richard Kim frantically thought, he couldn't know about the dimensional transactions. There are no records. Richard Kim's brain was on fire. How could some low-tier system user possibly know all this? Seakin, cool as ice, just pointed out the user was the problem, not the system itself, but Richard was still stuck on the system, thinking it had to be broken. He's locked onto the screen, a profile for Richard Kim flashing, highlighting his ambition and bravery. Across the digital divide, a smug Richard Kim, radiating a faint red aura, is convinced his rival is hanging on his every word. He pushes his advantage, taunting his opponent with a life-or-death question. Frustrated but cornered, Seakin reluctantly agrees, but not without a stern warning against any further humiliation. Richard Kim, still bathed in that ominous crimson glow, drops the hammer, a 5-second response window or instant death, and closing the message tab means the same fate. The system's cold message seals his fate, and Seakin, trapped, can only acknowledge the impossible situation. Richard Kim presses for his final answer, and Seakin, utterly cornered, surrenders completely, vowing to obey. But then, with a chilling smirk, Richard Kim utterly humiliates him, kicking him from the party and leaving Seakin in stunned disbelief. Then, a bizarre system message pops up. He just received coins from himself, leaving Seakin completely baffled by this unexpected, self-inflicted payment. Still reeling, Seakin tries to transfer coins, but it's a no-go. Meanwhile, Richard Kim is already on his case, demanding to know if he's checked his coin balance. His eyes blazing red, Seakin freaks out. The system just stole his coins, but he's trying to convince himself it's all good, right? Richard Kim just smirks, asking if he really thought he could pull it off, and Seakin, totally busted, can only admit his pathetic hope. Then, a system message pops up, you have received 1,000 coins from Seakin. He's completely mind-blown by the impossible transaction. His eyes burning with power, Richard Kim lays out his brutal plan, taking back the coins and kicking Seakin from the party, but with a chilling assurance that he'll still survive. Later, tossing and turning in bed, Seakin is absolutely terrified by the death threat if he doesn't obey, so he makes the grim decision to follow every single command until he maxes out, because he just can't risk his life. A mysterious, glowing book materializes, its pages revealing a chilling warning, any funny business means cutting open a golden egg, Richard Kim's golden eggs. With a calculating look and glowing red eyes, Richard Kim brushes it off, deciding to deal with it later. Meanwhile, Seakin is stuck in a total confusion loop, as system messages keep flooding in, telling him he's received coins from himself, each one making him even more baffled. Another system message hits Seakin, confirming a coin transfer from his own account, and he's absolutely losing it. His eyes burning red with pure panic, he can barely get out of the no, as Richard Kim just watches him break down, totally smug. More and more messages keep popping up, each one confirming another insane transfer, and Richard Kim is just piling on the pressure. Drowning in system alerts and the crushing reality of his situation, Seakin drops to his knees, pleading if there's any other escape from this nightmare. Richard Kim, casually holding a glowing, golden orb, just drops the number, 216 coins, no more, no less. He repeats the demand, his eyes locked on the broken man in front of him. Richard Kim then looks down at the glowing orb, wondering aloud how the other side knew the precise count of the last one. That revelation hits Seakin like a truck, and he can only stammer, realizing Richard Kim might actually be a VIP. The sheer weight of it all hits him, and suddenly, a terrifying transformation. His eyes ignite with an ominous red glow. And he slams a finger to his lips, a chilling, silent command. Shush. A dark-haired figure with glasses is on his knees, totally freaked out, as Aaron looms over him, his golden blonde hair contrasting with those terrifying, glowing red eyes. The kneeling guy is practically begging, demanding to know how Aaron found out his secret. Aaron, with those intense, glowing eyes, just drops the bomb, he's here for an old debt. The other guy is totally panicking, demanding to know what Aaron actually wants. Aaron doubles down on the bold debt claim, then flips the script, demanding to know how this guy even knows about the whole situation. With his eyes practically blazing, Aaron shuts him down, making it crystal clear that he has zero right to question him. The guy just stares up at Aaron, pure terror on his face, as the full gravity of the situation crashes down. With a hand shaking like crazy, the man practically begs, asking what else Aaron could possibly want, swearing he's completely broke. Aaron's intense, glowing stare doesn't waver, as he drops a chilling "I'm sorry" not once, but twice. Tears are just pouring down the guy's face as he screams that Aaron can't just end his life, which makes Aaron pause and ask, "What do you mean?" Completely blindsided, the man in glasses is utterly lost, his brain scrambling to process Aaron's cryptic words about martial arts books. But Aaron, with his eyes burning crimson, just doubles down, his voice a chilling command. Still utterly clueless, the man can only stutter out a question about the books, completely missing the point. Aaron's fuse is short and a terrifying red aura explodes around him as he reveals these aren't just books, they're forbidden, ancient knowledge, keys to unimaginable power, and he's taking every single one. His voice drops to an icy command, demanding the man surrender them now. The man, now shaking uncontrollably, can only gape in pure terror. Aaron, his crimson gaze piercing, accuses the man of trying to pull a fast one, making it crystal clear his life hangs by a thread. Then, with a terrifying finality, Aaron drops the hammer, 10 seconds, or else. He'd always wondered, deep down. If the legends were true, that mastering these ancient martial arts meant living and dying by their power. But was that really how it worked? Suddenly, a system notification blazed to life, confirming his bestowal was complete. He was now Haruman, armed with heavenly devastation, feathered robe, an obsidian cloak, a heavenly blade, an eternal ring, breathing of dragon, 10,000 steps, dragon's eye, and the ancient martial arts themselves. A dry laugh escaped him. Nothing was more important than your life, and even the system couldn't argue with that. His eyes flared, burning with an intense red glow, a raw display of the power now surging within him. Staring down at the trembling figure, Aaron's voice dripped with disdain. You really don't have any fundamentals, do you? Then, with chilling finality, he repeated his ultimatum, I'll give you 10 seconds. Hand over the books. And what happens after those 10 seconds are up? You die. Aaron, radiating a sinister red aura, stares down with chilling intensity, admitting he's no saint but refusing the label of hypocrite. With a menacing red glow pulsing from his hand, he presses on, his voice dripping with ice, doubling down on his declaration that he's just not a good guy. A blazing system notification confirms his status as a Revolution Species/Human Hunter, System Level 1, Exchange Level 2. Aaron's face twists into a dangerous smirk, warning Siakan he's got it all wrong and giving him a brutal 10-second ultimatum. Siakan, drenched in sweat and utterly stunned, tries to pull rank, furious about Aaron's words and daring to ask if he knows who he's messing with. But Aaron just doubles down, coldly repeating that Siakan is wrong and must obey if he wants to survive. Aaron's red aura flares, and Siakan crumples to his knees in sheer terror, as the young master drops the hammer, 10 seconds for the ancient books, or it's game over. His eyes burning with a terrifying red glow, Aaron vows to make him suffer and regret everything. Elsewhere, a mysterious figure clasps his hands, a chillingly wide smile stretching across his face. With the clock ticking down, Aaron's chilling reminder echoed, leaving Siakan scrambling, his mind racing against the impossible deadline. Suddenly, with a terrifying flicker, Aaron's eyes ignited with a sinister red, and Siakan's jaw dropped, utterly paralyzed by the sheer power radiating from him. Completely crushed by the overwhelming force, Siakan shrieked in absolute terror, his hands instinctively shielding his face from the horror. A golden, triumphant energy now surged around him, as Aaron reveled in the scholar's total collapse, a sinister grin spreading across his face. With his red eyes still blazing, he coolly confirmed that his master plan was perfectly on track, Siakan now completely snared. Then, a shocking system alert flashed, dropping a bombshell, humans weren't supposed to have this power. Only the Revolution species could wield the system, and he was confirmed as one, with both his exchange and system levels at maxed out 1. His eyes still burning with power, Aaron initiated the next phase, absorb. A strange, ethereal hum filled the air, as the very sky seemed to warp with raw power. And just like that, the scene snapped, cutting to a breathtaking, sun-drenched forest, signaling a brand new beginning. A sudden, powerful burst of blue energy just rips through the air. While Maki pushes through a dark, misty forest, red glowing particles swirling ominously around him. But elsewhere, in a sun-drenched glade, Aaron is deep in thought, revisiting a forgotten past, a time when he was just a kid, dreaming of being a legendary lord, just like his old man. Back in the eerie woods, Maki gives a solemn nod, taking it all in, totally getting it, and muttering a quick, heartfelt apology. He keeps up his desperate dash through the thick forest, knowing that just being quick isn't going to cut it for what's coming. Hitting the edge of a massive cliff, he just goes for it, leaping straight into the abyss. He's free-falling, absolutely rocketing towards a glowing red mountain. His eyes practically popping out at the insane view, just one word escaping his lips, impossible. Perched on the edge, he finally admits all that insane grind was worth it, because he just snagged this epic skill, a total Steelguard family privilege. The red book pulses with raw power, and Maki feels the undeniable truth of every prophecy about him surge through his very being. Plummeting through the void, he grapples with the terrifying possibility, could his body even handle this power without the Steelguard bloodline, or would his organs simply explode? It's just a theory, for now. But there's no turning back. He's about to unleash the legendary secret technique that forged Levadon Steelguard into the mightiest sword-ranked knight, a brilliant blue aura igniting around his weapon. 3 armed foes stand before him, but he knows the sheer, overwhelming power he now wields. In a blinding flash, he explodes into a mid-air assault, his blade a streak of pure, devastating blue energy. The blue energy slash rips through the air, a harbinger of destruction. He touches down with deadly grace, one foe already reeling from his devastating blow. He unleashes a whirlwind of blue energy, obliterating all three opponents with the Mystery Blade, the legendary lost technique of Leviathan Steelguard, now reborn. The area erupts in a cataclysmic blue explosion, leaving only utter devastation in its wake. He descends, his blade still humming with the residual blue energy of the Mystery Blade, a technique unheard of for over a decade. He lands with a controlled impact, his expression grimly resolute, ready for whatever comes next. The lost art, once thought gone forever, has now been unleashed once more within the very heart of the Steelguard territory, a game-changer. Meanwhile, a sinister, masked figure watches, their eyes burning with an unsettling red light, as if observing the unfolding events from a desolate, blood-soaked landscape. A new threat emerges. Maki pushes forward, his breath coming in ragged gasps as he sprints through the dense forest, no time to rest. Aaron's mind is blown. His eyes go wide, processing some insane new info. And he's thinking, this is just too much. Then he wonders if Haffel could actually pull off something this epic, but quickly realizes, yeah, it's Haffel, so probably. A blue energy flares, hinting at the sheer power he's thinking about, and he realizes you just can't compare basic sword ki to a full-blown aura. He's standing there, deep in thought next to a mysterious cloaked figure, realizing that thinking this power just came from some system is a total misread. He feels a sudden pang of sadness, wondering if this is how Haffel leveled up from a noob to a high ranker, and it's making him feel kinda down. He's like, is it even okay to be mad about this? But then he's like, nah, it's actually better if Haffel's stronger, especially now that he's basically claimed him. With a determined stretch, Aaron's like, alright, my turn. Time to test this system out, and he's totally ready to dive in. He extends his hand, a faint blue energy shimmering around it, poised to dive into the enigmatic system. Sitting cross-legged, a luminous orb materializes in his grasp, pulsating with intense blue energy, but his face tells a story of disbelief. This technique is almost too broken. The sheer difficulty makes him pause, forcing him to consider a different cultivation technique, something less insane. But then, the system drops a bombshell: heavenly cultivation, a legendary treasure amongst treasures, a broken skill. His mind is blown. Next up, Golden Will appears, another potential path, and his eyes narrow in thought. This one, he realizes, could be the absolute worst of the bunch, riddled with a critical weakness, but he's confident he can still master it, especially since only one of the 5 martial arts actually syncs with his mana. The very idea of martial arts catches him off guard. A chilling thought strikes him: if he focuses on inner cultivation, will his mana just become dead weight? Dismissing the troubling thought, he decides to table it for now, understanding that martial arts are a magnet for unwanted attention, and he absolutely cannot afford to show off. He stares at his own reflection, a crimson aura exploding around his bare torso, questioning what the heck even happened to him. He couldn't recall ever being like this, a shocking realization that only fueled his resolve, igniting a fierce thought that he'd just have to train twice as hard. Later, deep in thought about cultivation, he ponders that while two techniques might seem a bit different, their core points are actually identical. Out in a serene forest, Aaron makes up his mind to test his theories, announcing, let's give it a shot. His eyes locked on the heavens, he zeroes in on a distant, almost impossible vision, a mirage that felt both within reach and impossibly far. Knowing that reaching it would demand thousands, even millions, of brutal trials and errors. But with an insane amount of effort and a sudden, explosive burst of energy, a blinding flash of light erupts around him, scattering vibrant blue particles everywhere. As the light fades, a distinct silver aura begins to form around his hand, a clear sign of his cultivation breakthrough. Now in his noble best, Aaron stands with fierce determination, his sword ready, prepared for any challenge. The Steelguard estate, a beacon of power, loomed large under the endless sky, its secrets waiting to be unveiled. But inside, Aaron was deep in thought, believing he'd escaped his past, only to realize he was dead wrong, that relying on comfort was a huge mistake, and this was the ultimate outcome. He moved with a subtle swish, gliding down the opulent staircase, his eyes still lost in the depths of his own mind, a whirlwind of contemplation. Down below, Captain Haffel was already waiting, dropping the bombshell that the Lord demanded his presence, right now, but Aaron, ever the rebel, still had his own agenda. Aaron's eyes widened in shock, asking if his father really wanted him, and Haffel, with unwavering resolve, confirmed the Lord's urgent call. Haffel, with a stern gaze, admitted he'd been hunting for Aaron for ages, and gave a direct order: head straight to the Lord's office, no detours. Aaron's mind raced, trying to figure out the sudden urgency, why his father, out of nowhere, demanded his presence. Just a few heartbeats later, a crisp knock cut through the silence, announcing his arrival at the Lord's formidable door. A commanding voice from inside gave the order to enter, and Aaron strode in, declaring his arrival to his father, who was deep in thought, penning something important. Stepping into the opulent office, he immediately questions if the overseer is already there. And who is it? None other than Overseer Galloway, a total administrative genius known for his incredible skills. Aaron quickly connects the dots. If Haffel is his dad's right hand, then Galloway is definitely the left, basically his father's secret weapon. The gravity of that realization hits him hard. He's a bit confused, though, asking why his father isn't actually here right now. But Aaron's not backing down. He's fired up, ready to give it his all and absolutely refuse to embarrass the legendary Steel Guard name. Then, a voice from the desk cuts through the tension, dropping a compliment on his killer attitude. Overseer Galloway flashes a sly, knowing smirk, a subtle sound hinting at his power. Aaron's jaw drops. He instantly senses it, the Overseer's insane, heroic rank, a power so immense it literally makes his body lock up. He knew the whispers were true, but the game was changing, and not everything was as it seemed. A sudden system alert flashed, laying out the ultimate power tiers, a haul he once thought impossible, and the legendary awakened rank and heroic rank now within reach. This was the ultimate barrier, crushing countless dreams. And he'd once resigned himself to a lesser fate. He'd pictured himself on a throne, a decent ruler at best. But now, that impossible wall was squarely in his crosshairs. Despite the towering challenge, a determined grin spread across his face. Suddenly, Galloway's voice sliced through the air, a cryptic, unexpected, hanging between them. Aaron, startled, questioned him, and Galloway simply reiterated, "Didn't I tell you? There are countless other paths you can forge." Aaron pondered the strange comment, feeling it was oddly timed, especially after his grueling dawn training. Aaron's mind races, realizing that just like a hunt, there's never just one path to victory. And he doesn't have to stick to just one. He's going for multiple paths. He knows this multi-pronged attack will let him hit 2 targets at once, even if it's gonna be tough. His eyes narrow, locking onto his dual objectives, the sword and the market. Then, a sudden thought jolts him back to a past conversation, where he'd confidently dismissed a certain individual, saying they'd never do that. But then, the bombshell drops. Galloway knew about Darren's secret all along. He confronts the Overseer, demanding to know why he was even asked about it. Aaron's mind races, thinking how secrets, like a nail in a pocket, will always poke through eventually, but it's way smarter to keep them buried deep. Galloway, apparently convinced, agrees to trust him, but with a chilling warning, lie, and he'll make sure Aaron regrets it. Aaron's eyes pierce through the silence, demanding to know if they even grasp the magnitude of their blunder. He doesn't hold back, revealing the whole mess revolves around some guy named Yoon. They admit they know, but Aaron drops the bombshell, this man's entire trade was backed by the Overseer's own name. With a look that could cut glass, he makes it crystal clear, they have no excuse not to know exactly who this person is. Taking charge of the situation, Aaron boldly announces he's meeting Yulaf himself, no matter if it's today or tomorrow. Elsewhere, Maki stands firm, a determined glint in his eyes, clearly prepared for the impending action. Haffel, looking totally chill with his arms crossed, wonders why it's so quiet. He then drops some orders, telling someone to look after the young master, reminding them he's a big deal. Before pivoting to Aaron, hitting him with the question, "Are you actually ready for the Knights Academy in 3 days?" Aaron, cool as ever, just confirms the butler's got everything locked down. Haffel, ever the leader, tells him to chill out and promises to hit him up later. But Aaron, with that classic confidence, just says his presence alone is all they need. Haffel lets out a quick humph, then doubles down, telling Aaron to go rest while he wraps up his own stuff. And with that, Aaron just turns and heads out, making his exit. But then, a shockwave hit him. Haffel, ever the pragmatist, proposed. But just as Haffel was about to continue, he realized Aaron was already gone. Aaron, however, just popped back up with a smirk. Haffel, cutting straight to the chase, demanded. Aaron's eyes widened in realization, then a sly grin spread across his face. Aaron's mind is racing. He's figured out who was pulling the strings, and with his father on the case, his sister is in for a world of trouble. Overseer Galloway drops the bomb, Aaron's father is interrogating Miss Gwendolyn. Aaron's reaction is chillingly calm, almost like he expected his sister to get caught. Galloway tries to soften the blow, mentioning the Lord actually respects his sister's skills. So instead of just punishing her, he wants her to truly understand the consequences on her own. Aaron processes this, thinking that even with her talent, this mess definitely isn't winning her any points with their father. He muses on the strange way a parent's soft spot, their own child, can just disappear from their heart. Galloway's suspicion spikes at Aaron's insider info, and he demands, did someone from the firm spill the beans? Aaron, playing it cool with a shrug, just says he was guessing. Galloway's jaw practically drops, stuttering out a shocked, "Excuse me?" Overseer Galloway, reeling from the sheer audacity, can only concede that if Aaron's guess is on point, then the Lord's decree on Miss Gwendolyn is locked in. He lets out a frustrated, resigning himself to the fact that this is just how it is now. But Aaron, ever the enigma, just shrugs it off, declaring he couldn't care less and is just a nosy guy. With a casual turn, he strides off, his mind already miles away from the conversation. He's got a mission, a crucial task he needs to nail down before heading back to the academy, something big for the Steel Guard name. It's a high-stakes gamble, but he's confident he can pull it off. He thinks back to his old dream of being a decent lord, even if he couldn't be as epic as his dad, realizing he never even tried to start that journey, and now, it's go time. Maybe he'll hit up the affiliate market for some inner cultivation or a dragon scale to kick things off. His eyes flash with a dangerous red as he ponders, are they seriously out of their minds? Aaron's jaw drops, eyes wide with disbelief. These prices are absolutely insane. He gets it now, this is why the affiliate markets are a wasteland for good deals. A year of inner cultivation costs 300 coins, but nobody's buying. Let's put that in perspective, 300 gold, the cost of 1 year of inner cultivation, is what a top-tier knight makes in 2.5 years. But here's the real gut punch, the price isn't even universal. For most, that insane amount is just a cruel joke. Even the richest families in the empire are sweating trying to get inner cultivation for their kids, because 1 year alone costs a whopping 300 gold. It's a luxury only the elite can even dream of, and the system's examples just rub it in. Aaron lets out a frustrated sigh, he can't just say, it's too expensive and walk away, he's gotta find a way to snag it on the cheap. He's got to save them, the ones who are suffering, even if it means flipping inner cultivation himself. Then the system hits him with a gut-wrenching example, the yellow dragon girl, her family starving, needing inner cultivation at 250 coins a year, or a staggering 2,200 for 10 years. Aaron clutches the glowing blue orb, a system window flashing, inner cultivation, but he's already questioning its value if he can't even absorb it. Suddenly, 2 red system messages pop up, confirming a massive trade, 10 years of inner cultivation secured, and a cool 200 G coins received. But even with the purchase, he knows potions and elixirs are the usual go-to. He settles onto his bed, eyes fixed on the pulsating orb, a daring thought forming, should he just absorb it right now? A look of fierce resolve crosses his face as he closes his eyes, the orb's blue glow casting an ethereal light upon him. The absorption begins. The glowing blue orb levitates above his hands, pulsating with raw power as energy streams into him. A colossal blue aura explodes around him, engulfing his entire being as he fights to control the surging power, his expression a mask of intense struggle. Then, just as suddenly, the aura vanishes, leaving him utterly drained, his head slumped forward after the grueling cultivation session. With the morning sun now pouring through the window, he rises, the absorption complete, and a new level of power now courses through his veins. The raw power of the absorbed cultivation still crackles around him. As a mind-blowing system alert confirms he's just snagged 45 years of inner cultivation, the sheer intensity leaving a fiery glow on his skin. He can barely believe it, touching his face in utter disbelief, questioning the very fabric of reality. But before he can even breathe, a new, epic system window explodes into view, screaming, Sacrament, unlocked. Then, a cascade of notifications floods his vision, each one a fresh, inner cultivation, LV1, skill, piling up like an unstoppable avalanche of power. This isn't just a few skills, it's an insane, unprecedented haul, something that would have been pure fantasy in his previous existence. Surrounded by the blazing red interfaces, he's caught between absolute hype and a sudden, daunting realization of what this all means. He knows this isn't something to rush, he's got to strategize, to figure out how to wield this monstrous new strength. And then, a memory flashes, a glimpse of similar, incredibly rare cultivation items at an auction, confirming the sheer, mind-boggling value of what he now possesses. His right eye flares with an intense red glow, power surging as he locks onto something incredible, exclaiming, I found it. And there they are, right before him, nestled on a dark surface, the legendary yin and yang bugs. Aaron's mind races, knowing he needs to get things right, and the only way is to hit up the captain for advice. But then, a wild idea. He fires up a chat, hitting up some mysterious contact, Yo, you online? I need to pick your brain about something big, so I send a chat request. The chat lights up, confirming his entry, and the venerable blood demon is ready for questions. Aaron wastes no time, dropping the bombshell, alright, I need the lowdown on the yin and yang bugs from the item list. But then, a wave of awkwardness hits him. He stumbles, admitting, this is my first time chatting like this, and I'm not even sure if I'm allowed to ask about this stuff. He can't believe his eyes, staring at the chat, a wild thought flashing through his mind, seriously, I'm chatting with a blood demon right now. Guess I asked for this. Back in his room, he processes the wild chat, thinking, okay, he seemed chill, but who knows what a blood demon is like in person. Gotta stay sharp. A chilling grin stretches across the mysterious figure's face, dark red hair flowing as they drop a bombshell question, what's the absolute worst thing your enemy could ever tell you? Aaron's jaw drops, completely blindsided by the question, kick. Kick. What the heck? What are you even selling? Not really. The red-haired figure's grin stretches wider, eyes practically glowing with dark glee as they drop the ultimate bomb. You just ate the yin and yang bugs. Absolute madness. The blood demon, now fully revealed as the young master who became a blood demon, practically radiates dark energy, eyes blazing red, taunting, "You're the one who's gone full evil, roots and all. Come on, congratulate me. Let's talk." This guy is seriously twisted. Aaron's brain short-circuits, completely overwhelmed by the sheer audacity and horror of the blood demon's statement. "Wait, you're saying their parents became blood demons? Who even are you? I can't even process this right now." A system window flashes, confirming the entity's terrifying status as a blood demon at level 2 and the overseer for the dark web's black market. Aaron's mind screams, what is wrong with this guy? Is he completely unhinged? Aaron's mind is racing, but his chat avatar, a menacing figure with blazing red eyes, drops a bombshell. The yin and yang bugs he was after. Already devoured. The avatar just keeps going, casually mentioning how unique they tasted, and get this, they even boosted its mana. Then, a chilling, echoing laugh. Aaron's avatar then just shrugs off his quest, saying it doesn't get why he's even looking for them, but promises it's no big deal, just a minor inconvenience. The creepy avatar then drops another unsettling detail. People always whine about getting them removed, especially when they're used to dispose of a woman. And to top it off, it complains about all the headaches the exchange center gets from these complaints, hinting at a seriously dark past for these deals. Aaron, totally freaked out, reads the last message. Once you use them, they're basically stuck, so be careful. He can't believe they're impossible to remove. He shivers, the true horror of these bugs hitting him hard, way worse than he ever imagined. But then, a fierce determination flashes in his eyes, deciding if they can't be removed, there's no point holding back, and he gets ready to fire off his next message. Suddenly, the scene shifts to a massive, sun-drenched hall, where someone calls out to a distinguished man, Sir Jarvis. He strides through a lavish hall, sunlight blazing through massive arched windows, a figure of quiet purpose. His boots hit the polished floor with a rhythmic thud, propelling him further into the heart of the mansion. Then, a bright, eager voice cuts through the silence, making him pivot to face a smiling young man, who questions if he's truly the youngest master. The young man bows, a picture of deference, asking if his grueling training is done, and he confirms it's just wrapped up. He then muses aloud, surprised that Captain Haffel still commands his position, given his apparent age, and the young man, with a slight smile, admits to being quite old. With a small cup extended, the young man insists he drink, having thoughtfully prepared it for his post-training thirst. Jarvis accepts the cup, a grateful expression on his face, declaring it the most exquisite drink he's ever had. He cradles the cup, a contemplative look settling on his features, while the young man observes him with a soft, knowing smile. A quiet gulp, and the last of the liquid vanishes, leaving only the lingering taste. Aaron stares at the goblet, a single thought screaming in his head. A cold sweat breaks out as he senses it, a dark premonition that drinking this will unleash something awful. But Jarvis? He's practically glowing with an unnerving, almost maniacal glee. You like it, don't you? Jarvis demands, his tone leaving no room for argument. I don't care if you don't like it, just drink it. With no escape, Aaron chokes it down, his face a mask of pure agony. The flavor explodes on his tongue, pure, unadulterated horror, and he immediately spits it out, yelling, it's disgusting. Jarvis, completely unfazed, just casually asks, so, how was it? I made it just for you, you know. What a relief, Jarvis deadpans, then casually adds, guess I'll just toss it then. Aaron, a faint, almost hidden smirk playing on his lips, just coolly replies, great. Reeling from that nasty brew, he can barely stammer out a, sick, to Jarvis's probing question. But Jarvis isn't buying it, pushing him on whether he's really sick. He insists he is, but his face tells a different story of pure disgust. Jarvis, ever the smooth talker, coolly states that if he's too sick, no lessons will happen, dropping a casual reminder about give and take. Then, with a sly grin, Jarvis pivots, asking if he's got a favor to ask. Inside, he's boiling. Why couldn't Jarvis just be straight with him instead of making him chug that vile concoction? Jarvis pushes him to spill it, and after a beat, he decides to just lay it all out. The setting changes to a sprawling estate, as Jarvis starts laying out his grand plan. He keeps talking, his voice smooth and steady. Vowing that if he just follows the plan, he'll hit his targets, which makes Aaron immediately ask to see his magic. Jarvis, hand outstretched, declares his aversion to revealing his aura, but concedes to make an exception for Aaron, whose gaze is locked on him, his mind buzzing with eager expectation. With a sharp, very well, then, Jarvis swiftly unsheathes a long, elegant sword, commanding Aaron to retreat. The moment the blade emerges, Jarvis's eyes ignite with an intense, otherworldly glow, making Aaron's own eyes snap wide in shock. A faint, shimmering aura erupts from Jarvis, and around him, translucent, spectral figures begin to materialize from thin air. He plunges the sword into the earth, and the ground around it pulses with an unearthly glow, swirling with luminous particles as the spectral forms sharpen into focus. Jarvis's aura explodes, swirling with immense power as the spectral figures fully manifest, solidifying into distinct, armored warriors. Eren stares, a hushed whisper escaping him as he identifies the spectral forms, knights. Jarvis confirms their identity, revealing them as the legendary Steelguard Knights, once his most loyal retainers. Eren's face twists into profound astonishment, the sheer magnitude of Jarvis's magical power dawning on him. Eren's Steelguard is totally blown away, admitting he'd be lying if he wasn't impressed. But then he quickly downplays it, saying the young master is actually nothing. Haffel, the captain, just takes it all in stride with a humble smile, saying he's flattered but totally nothing compared to the Lord. Then, a sudden thought hits Eren, something that totally reminds him of a past chat. He remembers Haffel explaining that even though there are tons of aura users, there's a super specific reason why he's the youngest, emphasizing it's literally because he's the youngest. Eren, staring right at the captain, demands to know when he actually came alive, and if it took him a whole decade to get his current form if he'd started sooner. Haffel, looking super serious, just drops a bombshell. He doesn't think he's ever actually been alive, then reveals his shocking truth: he's a golem. Eren's jaw drops, yelling that it's impossible for a golem to be alive. But then it clicks, that's exactly why Haffel could be formed by the Lord's power. He just stands there in stunned silence, totally processing this mind-blowing revelation. He pauses, the weight of Haffel's words hitting him hard, like his own perspective is just too small, too much like a kid trying to grasp adult emotions. Then, a slow, deliberate clap cuts through the silence, snapping him right back to reality as the sound keeps going. Haffel's voice cuts through the tension, demanding if he's finally caught on. He keeps going, a smirk playing on his lips, teasing if Eren finally figured him out. Eren's mind is racing, putting it all together: the Lord's will, Haffel's aura, it's all linked, it's all connected. He stares at Haffel, the strongest aura user, but also the most chill golem he's ever seen. Walking next to him, he's still blown away by the golem who just casually calls his existence realistic, and he can't shake the feeling of pity, wondering what would happen if everyone found out. He stares at Haffel, still reeling from the revelation, demanding to know what the captain means by his cryptic words about identity. But Haffel isn't playing along. He pivots, a sly glint in his eye, flipping the script completely and hitting him with a curveball, demanding to know about his identity. Haffel's eyes narrow, cutting straight to the chase with a bombshell accusation, asking if he's an Empire spy. He's completely blindsided, his jaw dropping as a stunned "what" escapes him. But Haffel just grins, waving a finger dismissively, calling the spy accusation a bit too far. He keeps that easy smile, casually asking aloud why everyone gets so worked up under pressure. Still reeling, he quickly fires back, declaring he's not some kind of maniac. Then, Haffel casually pivots, looking off-panel and bringing someone else into the conversation, asking Jarvis for his take. A hand appears, and a voice cuts in with a blunt "no." The tension ratchets up as Haffel's eyes narrow, and he drops a bombshell: Harv's Duracle. With an unyielding stare, he delivers the crushing verdict: mission failed. The captain's intense gaze pierces the silence, his words cutting through the atmosphere. Eren takes it all in, a sly grin hinting at his true thoughts as he calculates his next move. Haffel doesn't let up, demanding to know if it was on purpose, or if this whole thing was just another trap. He stands firm on his honor, declaring his pride as a knight won't be easily swayed. Eren, cool as ever, with Jarvis watching on, shuts down the claim: "No, I'm telling you, I'm not." Haffel doubles down, demanding, "So you're calling yourself a spy?" Eren's response is immediate: "No. I'm saying you're dead wrong. I'm not." Eren's eyes flash as he fires back: "Was that a threat?" Haffel instantly denies it: "No." That unsettling vibe. It's back, and he knows exactly who's causing it. Only one person here can get under his skin like this. The forest itself seems to be whispering warnings, and he's already calculating the mess he could get into. He just can't read this guy, not a single thought. Is this all just a mind game, a cheap shot to get a rise out of him? His heart pounds, a drumbeat of defiance, and the sheer audacity of them knowing his name. That's the final straw. A sudden, explosive burst of power. He's had enough, and he's making it known. He's gone in a flash. Just a streak across the trees. His sword already out, carving through the air in a wild, mid-air move. Haffel and Jarvis are left absolutely stunned. He's just gone. Vanished into thin air. Haffel is absolutely flabbergasted, staring at the spot where Eren just vanished. He can't believe it, swearing he landed a hit before Eren pulled his vanishing act. But then, out of nowhere, streaks of electric blue energy rip through the air, snapping his attention skyward. The raw power of it swirls around him, forcing him to flinch back. Both Haffel and Jarvis are absolutely frozen, watching the blue light explode. A choked gasp rips from Haffel's throat, his eyes practically bugging out. He instantly recognizes the sheer, overwhelming power. This is a full-blown aura. And then, in an explosive burst of electric blue, Eren is back, a glowing sword in hand, radiating an insane, crackling aura. He hits the ground in a battle-ready crouch, eyes locked on his targets, the blue power still surging around him. Eren, absolutely fuming from the recent chaos, immediately confronts Haffel, demanding to know why he dare trash-talk his father, calling him a terrible person. He passionately defends his father, the legend who taught him everything about being a knight and a noble, recalling his iconic words, "A noble must always walk a different path." Words he still lives by. His mind flashes back to a younger self on a massive throne, a burning question echoing, was his father truly the mastermind behind Leiskin and Levidan, two names that shake the very foundations of their world? A younger, determined version of him stands ready, sword in hand, a different outfit hinting at a different time. His internal monologue burns with fierce resolve, they don't have to worry about how things turn out. He's ready to shoulder the entire burden. He acknowledges the insane stakes, realizing his very life is on the line, a crushing weight he's prepared to bear. Snapping back to the present, Eren looks down, a ghost of his past self haunting his thoughts as he finally declares, "Fine." His expression hardens with an unshakable resolve as he repeats the word, "Fine." But just a moment later, a wave of frustration washes over him as he scolds his own past ideals, how foolish. He lets out a primal scream, green energy exploding around him as he charges into battle. A heavy sigh escapes him, but the momentum is unstoppable as he barrels ahead. The ultimate technique, breaking fist of despair, is unleashed. The ground shatters beneath him as he winds up for the ultimate blow. Pure power surges, his fist glowing with destructive force. A thunderous impact. He smashes his fist into an enemy, sending them flying. His eyes burn with resolve, the fight far from over. But he's not done yet. Now comes the world breaker. The world itself buckles. A blinding explosion of power reshapes reality. The very earth screams as it's torn asunder, a cataclysmic burst of light and raw power ripping through the landscape. This is the world breaker in full effect. Eren's steelguard slices through the thick, misty forest, sword at the ready, every sense on high alert. A subtle rustle cuts through the silence, and he freezes, eyes darting, ready for anything. From a bird's-eye view, the sheer scale of this rocky, misty wilderness is insane, showing him as just a speck, with another shadowy figure lurking far off. But down below, the very ground pulses with an otherworldly glow, glowing particles erupting from the ancient stones. He stares, jaw dropping as he gasps, it's much more than I thought. Then, a weird clunk hits his chest, pulling his gaze down, a sudden, unsettling change within him. His eyes go wide with pure shock as he demands, what is this? A massive realization hits him, a deep mystery unraveling as he ponders, how was he able to hide such skill? Still reeling from the mysterious energy he sensed, Eren finds himself on the ground, a desperate denial escaping his lips, unable to accept the implications of what he's experiencing. Meanwhile, an older, gray-haired man, accompanied by a younger subordinate, calmly asserts that what they are discussing is not a skill at all, much to the younger man's confusion. Yet, standing alone, his gaze fixed on an unseen point, Eren firmly believes it is indeed an innate skill. Later, slumped against the cold stone, a sense of utter defeat washes over him, whispering that this might truly be the end. As he lies there, the older man from before looms over him, revealing that the Empress has been searching for something called the sacred tree, and demands to know who informed the young man of its existence. Eren's eyes widen in surprise as the man condescendingly remarks that he clearly doesn't grasp the gravity of the situation. But a flicker of defiance ignites in Eren's gaze as he echoes the man's words, questioning the assumption that he lacks understanding. Walking away from the older man, his thoughts now clear, Eren realizes that skill he sensed is intrinsically linked to the sacred tree, and resolves to find it himself. He's deep in thought, calculating the risks of his current predicament, knowing full well the dangers of working abroad. This guy isn't just informed, he's a master spy and a mind control mage. We're talking A tier here, a serious threat. No wonder he kept quiet, but the Steelguard connection. That's a whole new level of suspicious. Suddenly, the interrogator's voice slices through the air, calling him a replaceable tool and asking if he really thinks the Emperor cares. With a dramatic sigh, the interrogator mocks him, saying he's making him tear up and just making things worse. But Eren's not backing down. He defiantly states they can rip off his nails or tear off his limbs, he'll take anything. The interrogator is stunned by his lack of fear, thinking, he's not even scared. What do I do now? Then, a burst of raw power erupts from him, pure magic. Eren drops a bombshell, coolly revealing the creature before them is Yun, and the one his interrogator just ate. That was Yang. He even takes a bite of something, casually reiterating that this one is Yun, and the one the green-haired man devoured was Yang, making the interrogator's eyes flare with an eerie green glow. The truth slams into the green-haired man like a lightning strike, his mind short-circuiting as he grapples with the fact he ate a creature after being promised it was a health boost. A fluffy white creature flashes before his eyes, and his face twists into a mask of pure horror and disbelief. Totally overwhelmed, the green-haired man crumples to the ground, clutching his gut and letting out a primal shriek of pure agony, while Eren just stands there, stone-faced. Eren, completely unfazed by the man's meltdown, coolly tells him to chill out, insisting it was just a snake and that he'd probably already gorged himself on it. The green-haired man, still utterly shell-shocked, can only stutter out a bewildered, "What does that even mean?" Eren just keeps going, comparing the two creatures to a pair of twins, even the one the man just scarfed down. He then starts to drop hints about the deeper meaning, implying that both the good and bad parts will be. Dropping to his knees, the interrogator's mind shattered, grappling with the horrifying truth that he'd ingested a living entity, a monstrous secret he never conceived possible. But a chilling resolve hardens his gaze, he declares that testing is superior to mere talk, contemplating a subtle probe. A needle glints in his grip, as he zeroes in on the mysterious entity. The needle plunges into the squirming, pink mass, a sickening fekkk, echoing through the air. Pure revulsion twists his features, as the creature's alien texture sends shivers down his spine. He jerks back, a guttural cry escaping him, the sheer horror of the creature's touch overwhelming his composure. As the interrogator reels, Eren Steelguard, radiating a sinister red glow, calmly elaborates, "The good and bad will merge, and he'll be trapped by his own power, ready to spill more secrets." He then details the chilling sensation of touching them, revealing that even a gentle prod feels like the good and bad are being torn apart by an army of spears. The interrogator pushes the boundaries of cruelty, plunging the creature into icy water, describing the agony as being ripped apart by countless spears. Then, he subjects it to fire, claiming the sensation is worse than being burned alive on a freezing peak. The creature's torment is absolute, its very essence shredded, its wounds beyond any hope of healing. But the interrogator, with a chilling smirk, brushes it off as a mental trick, insisting these beings are just worthless insects. A cold, unsettling grin stretches across his lips. Before he abruptly pivots to Eren, demanding his opinion on the whole twisted affair. Elsewhere, Raymond Laskin, fresh off an interrogation, sits deep in thought, muttering the same dismissive words, "Useless bugs." Eren stands before him, and Raymond cuts straight to the chase, demanding to know his purpose. With a confident, almost arrogant smirk, Raymond reveals his true identity, proclaiming that even the Empire trembles at his name. Way back, the King of Navarro, leading the Imperial Patrol, rocked a mythical sword that was absolutely legendary. And it was this legendary knight who totally shut down the Empire's advance, the absolute hero who brought everyone relief. He literally stopped the Empire from taking over the whole continent, earning him the epic title, the Guardian of Navarro, the Heart of Steel. That legendary title just kept echoing through history. Raymond Laskin keeps going, dropping the bombshell that the knight was Eren Steelguard's father, a total hero, but then he totally downplays his fame as irrelevant to the Empire's fear. He acts like he's never even heard of him, saying the knight is just a little bit famous and definitely not someone the Empire would actually be scared of. He spills the tea, saying the Imperial Council totally recognized him for ending a civil war and becoming a legendary hero, but then he drops the real kicker, something way more important is going on. Raymond then gets all introspective, wondering if these heroic deeds are just some mythical guy's actions, or if there's a super weird coincidence happening. He totally shuts down the idea of pure chance, deciding that believing that is just impossible. As Eren's jaw drops, Raymond dramatically declares there's gotta be something totally inherent within the Steelguard bloodline. Eren Steelguard, deep in thought, grapples with the Emperor's chilling prediction. His gaze drops, faint magic particles swirling, the prophecy's weight pressing down on him. Lost in the swirling depths of his mind, he questions the spy's true intentions. A vivid memory ignites, a younger Eren, confronted by Jarvis, who challenges his belief in matching his father's power. Jarvis's words cut deep, a stark reminder of the impossible standard. Young Eren's defiant reply, even if his father's greatness was unreachable, he would still strive to be a decent lord. Now, the present Eren, eyes burning with resolve, confirms that was his belief then. His face hardens, past dreams clashing with present truth, a single, powerful declaration, until now. Eren gives Raymond a nod for his achievement, but his mind is already racing, wondering if this is truly the goal. He shakes off any notion of his father's legacy being a burden, declaring it an indelible part of his very being. A fierce red aura erupts, and he proclaims his absolute detachment from any predetermined inheritance. But beyond that, a chilling realization hits him, the Empire's eyes are still on his every move. His face tightens, a fierce determination burning in his eyes. The iconic Steelguard shield emerges, signaling the dawn of an entirely new saga, a fresh narrative for their name. His eyes ablaze, he makes a powerful oath, to carve out a legacy entirely his own, something he'd never even dreamed possible. He recalls his past failures, fueled by an unshakable resolve to never again be powerless in this lifetime. His eyes blaze with conviction, he knows he must now carve out a brand new destiny, a fresh narrative. Haffel is back, but something's clearly off. He's standing there, looking totally troubled. He drops to one knee, declaring his comeback to his lord. But something's seriously wrong, he's getting super dizzy just looking at his lord. His memories are all messed up, totally fragmented, like a huge chunk of his brain just went missing. He's trying to figure out what's happening, muttering about a demon of the mind messing with him. Then, it hits him, and he snaps his head up, calling out, "My lord, it's Cao Loi." Still on his knees, his eyes are locked onto the figure in front of him. And there he is, Cao Loi, an old man in dark robes, his long grey hair spilling out from under his hood. Eren Steelguard's training is cut short with an urgent apology, as Jarvis insists this news couldn't wait. He turns, demanding to know, what could possibly be so important. Jarvis drops the bombshell, it's about the youngest daughter of the infamous merchant Yuli. Eren, cool as ice, can't believe this is what all the fuss is about. Jarvis pauses, then drops the real bomb, the merchant's daughter has found the Empire's spy. The news hits Eren like a lightning bolt, his face contorting in pure shock. Meanwhile, at the breathtaking, sky-piercing palace. Captain Haffel, ever loyal, kneels before Eren Steelguard on the majestic steps, delivering a crucial report with utmost gravity. Eren, with Haffel and his loyal crew by his side, absorbs every word of the unfolding drama. A body hits the dirt, blood pooling around it, the scene is grim. Crimson splatters everywhere, a brutal, silent story unfolding. And Raymond Laiskin, with a heavy gaze, delivers the chilling verdict, he's dead. Eren Steelguard drops to his knees, a heavy sigh escaping him, admitting his failure to keep the man alive. Back on their feet, Raymond checks on Eren, who quickly reassures him, he's okay, having prioritized his own healing. Raymond gives a curt nod, then cuts straight to the chase, demanding a full explanation. He points to the body, revealing it's Yulaf, the legendary mana crystal merchant. A quick glance at the merchant's face, and it's undeniable. Raymond confirms, he knows this man, because he went to Lehite just to meet Yulaf. He'd laid out the whole situation, and Yulaf just bailed on the guild and the city, leaving him with this super weird vibe. A lavender-haired woman had totally called him out, asking, seriously, what's the deal with spying on a merchant? That's just weird. He knelt over the body, remembering how much he actually liked the guy, he was kind, he was good, and then he just pulled out his sword. The burning question in his head was, how did you even know he was a spy? The answer was super clear as he handed over a sealed envelope, announcing, it's all right here. He passed the super important document to Jarvis, who took it with a dead serious look. Jarvis meticulously checked out what was inside, and his silence was deafening. A massive gasp ripped through the whole crowd, their faces totally blown away with shock. Through all the chaos, Raymond's stare stayed locked, his face totally determined. He's locked in, absorbing every word, then fires back, you said it. His eyes widen in shock as he blurts out, seriously? What's it say? He can barely believe his ears, turning away in disbelief, excuse me. Waving the document, he clarifies that this is typical for the Empire's top-secret intel, having personally witnessed it multiple times. He's still reeling, questioning, wait, what if it's just a fake copy? A nervous twitch plays on his face as he glances aside. His eyes narrow, a steely resolve in his voice as he declares, looks like you're trying to keep this from the Empire. He vehemently denies the accusation, clarifying that dealing with the Empire is a massive headache, his frustration palpable. Raymond's gaze is piercing as he challenges, is that really the reason? Raymond, ever the professional, confirms he's on board, fully grasping the gravity of the situation. But then, a bombshell drops as he casually mentions his eldest son. The scene shifts dramatically to a bustling street, as a profound thought echoes, pondering the true mindset of a lord. The voice insists, with unwavering conviction, that a true lord can never possess such a mindset. Elsewhere, Eren Steelguard delivers a harsh dose of reality, if it doesn't add up, it's probably a scam, and that's just how the world works. With a stoic gaze, he simply nods, confirming he gets it. Eren then strides past Jarvis, who casually brushes off a minor doctor situation, then immediately orders an overseer to summon a physician. Jarvis and Haffel stand at attention, giving Eren the full respect due to their lord. But a flicker of rage crosses Eren's face, a silent curse burning through his thoughts, damn it, Erwin, you little brat. Haffel, rocking a white hooded cloak, throws out a challenge, are you seriously overreacting right now? But the young man, still laid up in bed, fires back, insisting no one's gonna show up here anyway. He brushes off his injury like it's just a tiny scratch, then flips the script, asking if Haffel thinks it's really that serious. Jarvis rolls up, and Haffel drops the bomb, the Lord wants this whole thing kept under wraps. Meanwhile, Jarvis is already asking if Haffel's going solo, ready to jump in and back him up. Haffel pivots hard, demanding to know how long this meditation charade is gonna last, straight up calling it a pathetic display. He throws out a blunt suggestion, maybe take a good look in the mirror, huh? Meanwhile, Raymond Layskin is caught off guard, his only response a bewildered happy. Jarvis stares at the young man, a silent question hanging in the air, is everything really back to normal? But Aaron's mind races, convinced it was all just natural, nothing wrong, and he's feeling better thanks to himself. Then, he eyes a perfectly crafted item, a masterpiece, capable of tricking even the Lord. Jarvis echoes his thoughts, noting Aaron's recovery, but then drops a bombshell, questioning his actions and demanding to know why he shouldn't have done it. A sly smirk crosses Aaron's face as he retorts, you mean why? He reveals the truth, there's no other face like it, then a flicker of doubt crosses his expression. The mask, a masterpiece of deception, practically hums with power, its unique design undeniable. Jarvis, still processing, demands to know if it's true, and Aaron's response is chillingly simple, I did it because I like you, Lord. Aaron's eyes drift, his own words echoing in his mind, but a chilling question surfaces, and what about me? Lying in bed, he can't hold back, asking, Sir, can I ask something? Jarvis, ever the mentor, pushes him, don't hold back. Spill it. Jarvis takes a seat, making his intentions clear, I'm here to get you back on your feet. Aaron's gaze sharpens, pressing him, can you keep this under wraps? He sits up, laying out the harsh truth, with your power, the chapel's already backed into a corner. Jarvis just grins, declaring, I'm the main character here. Aaron just stares, a heavy silence filling the room, then he finally breaks it. His face twists in irritation, snapping back, cut the arrogance. His eyes narrow, a hint of doubt in his voice as he questions, right? He holds up a potion, his gaze sharp as he deduces, you're rushing things, aren't you? And it's not about the chapel. He's staring down this weird, segmented creature, and you can practically hear the gears turning in his head. Then, he turns to someone off-screen, a smirk on his face as he asks, so, how exactly am I supposed to help with this? But then, his whole vibe changes, and he's thinking, can I even trust this guy? He's the same shady character. He lets out a laugh, knowing he already has his answer. Flashback. Aaron's in a room, asking Levidan Steelguard, you wrote this, right? And Levidan's like, yep, just like you told me to. Snap back to reality. Aaron's eyes are locked on something, and you can hear a subtle rustle as he zeroes in. Okay, time for some lore. The first Levidan Steelguard. Turns out he was born pretty weak, both physically and mentally. Seriously, the guy was so feeble, he couldn't even hold a sword straight. And get this, even though some stuff has changed, the current Levidan Steelguard is apparently just as weak as the first. Back to Aaron, he's processing all this, thinking, okay, this is good info, but there's definitely more to the story. He's not holding back, calling out the report as totally biased, like only a total idiot would fall for it. Quickly backtracking, he's like, whoa, not saying you're a liar, but remember you told me to be super careful, right? Chilling in bed, he just sighs, thinking this whole thing is getting sketchier by the second. Then it hits him like a truck, Jarvis is totally messing with him. He drops some serious wisdom, laying out the rule, you gotta bury the lies in the truth, or you're just asking to get busted, right? But Jarvis just fires back, telling him he'll get caught too, then offers to spill the beans, promising it's not about him being some low-class scrub. Then Jarvis just drops the bomb, calling him a straight-up idiot in school, leaving Aaron totally blindsided and wondering what the heck he means. Cool as a cucumber, Jarvis just tells him to bounce, adding a casual, try not to get caught, as a parting shot. Still reeling from the convo, Aaron just says alright then, and gets up. He's deep in thought, wondering if this person will be a problem, questioning if he can even trust them. The gears are turning. He's thinking about teaming up with the Empire again, and if things go south, he'll just take out the bean bug himself. The stakes are high, but he's decided, it's a risk worth taking. Suddenly, a sharp knock at the door jolts him, his eyes widening in surprise. A voice cuts through the silence, asking how he's holding up. Father, he shouts, a wave of relief washing over him as he hears the good news. Levidan strides in, commenting on their long-awaited reunion, but Aaron, still worried, presses him, are you really okay? His father gives a confident, yep, happy to see his son doing well. Levidan then reveals he was thinking of postponing their trip. Aaron, deep in thought, is snapped back to reality as Haffel tells him to chill out and not push himself too hard. With a subtle sound and a reassuring gesture, Haffel keeps talking, his tone surprisingly gentle for a knight captain. Then, he declares he's heading out, vowing to be back quickly, and Aaron just gives a simple, I'll be waiting. But Haffel pauses, a thoughtful look on his face, realizing they'd never had these kinds of personal chats before. Aaron, meanwhile, is feeling the exact same vibe, mentally screaming that he just can't get used to this personal stuff. Suddenly, Haffel spins around, a hint of alarm in his voice, asking if Aaron's okay because he looks a bit yellowish. Aaron quickly averts his gaze, a nervous sound escaping him, totally flustered and wondering what on earth he's supposed to say in these awkward moments. Haffel, with a serious expression, continues, revealing that the knights have been on duty all night. He then asks Aaron if he's ready, explaining the knights' mission took longer than expected, keeping them out all night. A captured spy, disguised as a merchant from the Empire, is exposed. Haffel is totally relieved they caught him before any intel could spill. And get this, Aaron's dad now knows the Empire is totally hiding steel guards. Aaron, sitting right there, takes Haffel's thanks in stride, but quickly brushes it off, saying it was no big deal. Haffel's face gets super serious, telling Aaron he needs to be way more careful from now on. Aaron looks down, a flicker of fear in his gaze, confessing he's still kinda scared, especially knowing his dad could lose his precious son to some spy. He stands there, arms crossed, a deep, thoughtful look on his face. Haffel's mind rewinds, flashing back to a father who was anything but warm, a dude who was always super cold and strict. He's like, whoa, totally different from the person he is now. Suddenly, Aaron pops up, breaking his thoughts, and asks, person. That question totally catches him off guard, and he lets out a little, oh, of surprise. He remembers every single face, all the despair, and the whole family falling apart back then. But get this, out of everyone who was there, his dad was nowhere to be found. The only one who bailed was the guy who should have cared the most, his own father. He was the only one who just didn't give a damn. Haffel's mind was a whirlwind, fixated on his father, a figure of cold, strict truth. Every word spoken about him. Spot on. Then, a memory flashed, Aaron's voice cutting through the air, "Father, you're the one who needs to watch your back." Haffel's face hardened, a silent, knowing reaction. He'd been a silent observer, catching Aaron's words to their father, his own mind racing, no. I just overheard what you said to him. Aaron, completely unaware of the eavesdropper, had simply stated, just remember that. The scene dissolved, leaving Haffel with a heavy, thoughtful look. He'd always aimed to be a good lord, even if his father's legendary status was out of reach, a father whose stern image now haunted his thoughts. He swore to stop the worst with his own power, unlike the man who vanished when their family fell apart. Haffel declared, his eyes burning with resolve, I'll stop the worst with my own 2 hands. Haffel, bathed in a brilliant glow, declares his unwavering resolve to give his absolute best. Aaron, beaming back at him, can barely contain his elation, practically shouting his thanks for finally getting into the inner secret storage. He goes on to spill the beans, detailing the insane hoops he had to jump through, a massive wait and even getting the higher-ups' approval just this morning. But Haffel just stands there, quiet, making Aaron wonder why he's so obsessed with this secret storage. Totally caught off guard by the silence, Aaron just has to ask, aren't you even disappointed? Haffel finally breaks his silence, confessing he is disappointed, especially since a Steel Guard knight got the green light to enter. He then drops the bombshell, this knight is the only one allowed in, and get this, they're being personally trained by the heroic ranking knight. Behold! A majestic, armored figure stands before a throne, the very image of that legendary knight. Aaron, still chatting with Haffel, grumbles about the whole thing, but then shrugs it off, figuring he's just got some crazy good luck. Haffel just can't wrap his head around it. Why would a Steel Guard knight, of all people, get this VIP pass to the inner secret storage? Especially when they're getting trained by a heroic ranking knight. But Aaron just shrugs it off, saying he's not exactly thrilled about it either. After telling him to take his sweet time exploring, Haffel promises to wait right outside. Aaron gives a quick yes that he won't be late, a subtle smirk hinting at something more. He strides into the epic, arched hallway, thinking, long time no see, to this legendary spot. This isn't just any storage, it's the inner secret storage, a place even the Steel Guard knights had to wait years for, and only after getting the Lord's personal okay. He confirms his access, a quiet of course escaping his lips. He can't help but think about how lucky he is, especially since he's getting trained by a heroic ranking knight. The shield, a glowing symbol of the inner realm, practically hums with power, marking the gateway to something truly epic. Aaron Steelguard pushes deeper into the epic hall, his eyes locking onto a display stand, fully aware that even legendary or heroic knights wouldn't normally get this kind of VIP access. He's thinking about all the sneaky intentions of anyone trying to swipe from his family, and it hits him, this isn't a sword, it's a shield. After figuring out the king's real game, his grandfather decided to stash this thing away right here, even though he got absolutely nothing back from the king for it. In fact, his grandfather had practically won the war, racking up tons of heroic achievements, and as a Steelguard knight, he was totally adored and backed by the people. If he'd really wanted to, he could have just taken everything for himself and become an emperor, but nope, he chose to stay loyal right up until the very end. The rewards he got were absolutely nothing compared to his insane heroic achievements. And it's not like he can even sell this thing because it's ancient junk, he thinks, staring at the old shield. These, he finally gets it, are the real treasures. He finally understands, his grandfather's gear, soaked in history and loyalty, is worth way more than any gold or jewels. Even the most legendary sword, gleaming under a dark, star-filled sky, holds no meaning if it cannot be utilized. He muses, his eyes glowing with a faint red light as a system prompt appears, asking if he will proceed. The current inventory, a dimensional gate, is nearly full, its capacity at 753 out of 1000. Eren realizes the sword's disproportionate size makes it impossible to store as is, prompting him to consider an upgrade. With a determined expression, he decides it is time to enhance his dimensional storage, his hand hovering over the glowing interface. He confidently states that his extensive knowledge of transactions makes this a trivial matter, a simple task for him. The system confirms his inventory has reached level 2, then prompts him to raise it again for a cost of 1000 gold, to which he readily agrees. However, his expression shifts to surprise as the system informs him he does not possess enough gold, leaving him momentarily stunned. Despite the level increase, the inventory capacity remains the same, with the cost of 1000 gold still displayed, a stark reminder of his current financial limitation. He stares down the epic blade, its sheer power practically radiating off it. Could he even stash this monster in his inventory? Gripping the legendary Slayer's Heaven sword, a blade that literally levels up with every kill and absorbs enemy essence to boost its wielder, he's gotta check his inventory to see if he can even hold this beast. His eyes blaze red, practically screaming with the sword's insane potential, a weapon that could skyrocket his power to god-tier levels. A wicked grin spreads across his face, his glowing eyes mirroring the blade's dark charm. He knows this is the key to unlocking the ultimate power he's been chasing. He chills out with the sword on his lap, muttering to himself, totally hyped by this weapon's insane abilities. With a smug look, his eyes still faintly glowing, he confirms the sword is officially stashed in his dimensional inventory. Back in his room, he checks his system, dimensional storage officially level 2 after that last upgrade, his inventory woes are finally over. He's thinking about it, the ultimate nightmare. If that transaction book, the one from his past life, gets into his siblings' hands, it's game over. He'll be stuck repeating all his old mistakes. But no way. A fiery determination burns in his eyes, he's gotta get rid of it, no matter what. Eren Steelguard, amidst towering shelves, is getting seriously frustrated, thinking, is it really not here? He's scoured every corner, but it's nowhere to be found. He even starts sniffing around, convinced it must be hidden somewhere in these dusty old books. Then, a flash of memory from his past life hits him, and suddenly, it all makes sense. He's about to give up, muttering, I can't find it any dash. But then his eyes lock onto something, a sudden spark of realization. He shoves his hand into a tiny gap, just a little more, trying to grab whatever's hidden. He yanks it out with a shout of victory, but the moment he sees it, his jaw drops in pure shock. Eren Steelguard is on the floor, staring at this massive, mysterious object he just found, letting out a relieved breath at its sheer scale. But then, his eyes snap wide open, a shocking realization hitting him like a truck. He's holding this sleek, black, egg-like thing, and his first thought is this just a giant ostrich egg? But the more he stares at it, the more he feels like he stumbled onto something huge, something he was meant to find. He thinks it over, shrugging it off as not his problem for now. The object starts to glow faintly, but he's just gonna leave it right where it is. He gets up, this whole thing just confirming a massive piece of the puzzle for him. He's thinking, the transaction book wasn't the only special thing out there, his own dimensional transaction box is the real deal. Eren Steelguard is deep in the zone, his mind absolutely buzzing with the insane implications of his past life and that one-of-a-kind dimensional transaction box. He's grappling with the ultimate questions, how to rewind time, and how to actually tap into the dimensional trade system. But then, a single, mind-blowing explanation clicks into place, the one thing that could tie all his wild memories together. It's all about that legendary, glowing artifact, the one and only bookmark of Wish. But then, a critical, agonizing detail hits him, sparking pure distress. What in the world did he even wish for before he died? The memory is a blur of pure agony, making it impossible to remember clearly, but he's pretty sure he wished for a second shot at life. He also distinctly remembers wanting to kick off dimensional trading, but wait, the bookmark of Wish is a one-time deal, right? This whole thing is making him seriously doubt everything. His memories just aren't adding up, leaving him totally bewildered. Pure frustration boils over as he can't remember a single thing more, and now he's wondering if he's even capable of using any dimensional transaction books in this messed up state. A wave of clarity hits him, and he knows the past discomfort was pointless. This new understanding changes everything. Armed with this game-changing insight, he's already thinking about his next big move, wondering what incredible power he'll unlock. He starts moving, the echoes of his father's unrestricted power still fueling his thoughts. His mind immediately jumps to the legendary dimensional transaction box. But then, a hard stop. He shuts down an idea, declaring it way too far. The legendary multiple dimension book is still locked away in his secret storage. He remembers the insane power it gave him, but he's not touching it again. Instead, he's eyeing his grandpa's notes to find new dimensions. He keeps moving. His determined steps carry him forward. Aaron looks down, a soft sound of surprise escaping him. He spots a small, dark orb on the floor, wondering aloud why it isn't in his inventory. Picking it up, he mutters that he should have kept it there, as it's not like the object can move on its own. A slight smile plays on his lips as he considers the possibility that perhaps it does have a will of its own. Standing before an old, ornate storage chest, he acknowledges that in this place, weird things can indeed happen. The orb in his hand begins to glow with a swirling, dark energy, making him wonder if it's also capable of showing dimensions. His eyes flash with a red glow as he decides to find out, intending to place the orb in his inventory to access its information. However, a system message appears, frustratingly vague, only stating, possible, orb of specifics not provided. His glowing eyes widen in disbelief as he exclaims, "Are you kidding me? It might as well not show me anything in the first place." Aaron, still gripping that enigmatic orb, can't help but wonder if this thing is actively refusing to spill its secrets to a low rank like him. He's thinking, if even his basic info system is drawing a blank, this orb has to be from some seriously high-tier, next-level stuff. And just as he suspected, it's not even registering with the end, or God, systems. This thing is truly off the charts. Totally fed up with the mystery, he's like, how else am I gonna figure this out, and unleashes his ultimate skill, the Eye of Providence. A crimson aura explodes around him, his eyes blazing with power, and the orb in his hands mirrors the intensity, glowing with an ominous red light. His vision snaps into focus, his glowing eye widening in pure shock as the Eye of Providence unveils a mind-blowing truth. He's absolutely floored, staring at the orb with a mix of awe and terror, barely able to get out a single, stunned word. That orb is still radiating power in his hand, and whatever it just showed him has left him utterly speechless. He can vividly recall this exact day, the day he stepped foot into the academy for the very first time. The massive gates of the Steel Guard estate swung open, and a wave of anticipation, mixed with whispers, swept through the crowd as his return was finally announced. But not everyone was thrilled. Two men in the crowd snickered, one wondering if he'd finally smartened up, the other scoffing that he was too stubborn to ever change. Meanwhile, a stern-faced woman nearby didn't hold back, declaring it would be for the best if he just stayed gone for good. Yet, even with all the whispers, he couldn't help but feel like this was his triumphant celebration. The crowd was a chaotic mix of judgment and faint hope, some openly calling him wasted and good for nothing, while a few dared to whisper words of defense. Aaron finally turned, a confident smile on his face, challenging their negativity, and reminding them it had only been a few short weeks since they last saw him. He thought about how he used to be the one everyone shunned, and now, unbelievably, he was the Steel Guard's last hope. A determined, almost defiant smile spread across his face as he simply stated, he was proud. But as he turned to leave, his sister's voice cut through the air, questioning his departure and expressing worry for her hurt brother. He was about to embark, and his sister, with a soft smile, reminded him of the long road ahead, for years until they'd see each other again. Facing him, she laid down the law, "Don't forget to write, all right?" He gave a quick, "Okay." Her words poured out, a torrent of sisterly wisdom: health first, eat well, stay clean, and for goodness sake, don't be rude. He tried to sound confident, but his slight stutter gave him away, prompting her to offer a comforting, "I know you'll crush it." But a shadow of concern still touched her face. She just couldn't help but worry, maybe it was because he was the baby of the family. Then, with a gesture, she offered a small pouch, making him wonder, "My hand?" His hand met hers, the pouch now within reach, and he breathed, "This is." He accepted the humble offering. And with a radiant, heartfelt smile, his sister announced it was just a little something. Why would he even need money at the academy, Aaron questions, only for his sister to casually drop, "Mom said it's always useful." She adds with a confident smile, "And I've got plenty. If I convert this, I could even form a whole squad." "That's exactly what I was going to say." Aaron exclaims, but his sister just brushes him off, "Don't even worry about it." "Wait a minute," he thinks, a sudden realization hitting him, "My sister is loaded." "Huh," he mutters, his gaze dropping, "It's gone." Then it clicks, the ruby pendant she always wore. Aaron sits, clutching the iconic pendant, a mix of surprise and understanding washing over him as his sister observes. A luxurious carriage rolls through the city, shining bright as it makes its way. But inside, a plain sack sits, totally out of place amidst all the fancy stuff. Aaron's deep in thought inside the carriage, his mind racing as he ponders, this isn't like that ruby pendant they had, right? He can't remember anything else that went with it, and it definitely wasn't some ancient family heirloom. His expression darkens, a sudden understanding hitting him hard. He totally gets how much she cherished it. His intense green eyes narrow, a new question forming in his mind: was she just under a ton of pressure? Elsewhere in the carriage, his sister chimes in with a totally random thought, like, eyelashes don't even take that long to grow, right? She probably cannot help but feel like it is her duty. He muses, thinking that he should be feeling that way instead of her. A soft sigh escapes his sister, who seems to be saying, I don't have time to be in. Aaron's gaze sharpens, red lines beginning to glow around his eye as he resolves, I have to be as ready as I can before I leave. Suddenly, a glowing red system window materializes before him, displaying the words, Enter System 1. A surge of red energy crackles around his leg and hand, a powerful sound effect accompanying the activation. The red lines on his face intensify, another distinct chime signaling a system update. 2 more red system windows appear, informing him that he has received 30 coins and then 22 coins from Seokyeon. A small, almost dismissive sound escapes him as he looks down, muttering, look at him. He's locked in, eyes glued to the system's blazing red interface, the cryptic code practically screaming at him. Suddenly, a chat window explodes onto the screen, showing him grilling Seokyeon, demanding to know if he's messing around, only to get a bewildered, huh? What? Back. His face dead serious, he snaps back that he's on a tight schedule, never expecting this kind of speed, but assures him, I'm working on it. His eyes widen in shock, a wry comment escaping him, looks like you're having a blast. But across town, a different scene unfolds, a man in glasses and a hat is absolutely floored, eyes bugging out at his screen, barely managing to stammer, how did you? His screen flashes, revealing the bombshell, it's from the dark web exchange, and then, a scammer using automatic AI coins. The guy's jaw hits the floor. His gaze snaps to another alert, new distribution rates, 49%-1%, and he screams, W8. His eyes blaze red as he watches a percentage plummet. And demands answers, while Seokyeon, completely oblivious, tries to reassure his client of a great deal. But Aaron isn't buying it, already knowing the score, as an unseen observer praises his diligent work. A burst of crimson energy explodes, scattering everywhere. And he raises a hand, his voice cutting through the air, with a chilling warning not to fool him. The system flashes a shocking update, Baruan, the client, has completely rewritten the distribution rates, boosting his own share from 80 to 83%, and slashing Seokyeon's from 20 to 17. A brutal reality slams into Seokyeon, sending his hand to his head in utter disbelief. He scrambles to apologize, promising an immediate investigation and follow-up. The system then drops the final bombshell, confirming a contract between 2 organizations has now locked down the distribution center. A new, dimensional contract just dropped, a secret maintenance contract that completely flips the script. Seokyeon, who used to be a supplier, is now officially labeled a slave. For protection and keeping his secrets locked down, Seokyeon has to obey every single order and hand over a whopping 90% of his profits. Aaron's eyes are blazing red, and he's clutching a glowing cube like he owns the world. This slave contract is locked in for a whole century, meaning Seokyeon just signed up to be his slave for the next 100 years, kneeling there like he's already broken. Aaron thinks Seokyeon's already had a taste of that sweet joy and enjoyment, and even if he takes everything, Seokyeon will never stop craving it, never satisfied with just a tiny share. That smirk on Aaron's face. Pure evil, with those unsettling crimson eyes still glowing. He brings a tiny object to his mouth, muttering that he'll keep his new slave in his mouth forever. Seokyeon, totally broken, quickly presents a book or tablet, his voice barely a whisper. Aaron eyes the item, shocked at how fast it was done, like it took no time at all. Seokyeon drops his gaze, mumbling a pathetic apology. Aaron's eyes flared crimson, demanding intel on Evangeline's breath, the world-dominating swordsman's legendary technique, but the system's cryptic response left him reeling, desperate to know what it found and why the explanation just cut out. His eye of providence was fully charged, locked onto the data. He glared at the glowing screen, which just screamed "No more info," muttering, is this seriously all there is? They told him that was it, but his gut screamed otherwise, knowing there had to be more to this story. Across town, Seokyeon was losing it, clutching his head, replaying Aaron's words and challenging his trash assessment of their target. Aaron, eyes still blazing, shot back, are you insane? Who'd trust a third-tier nobody? Seokyeon, looking right at him, fired back, if they can't even hit second tier, they're basically third tier by default. Seokyeon recoils, a visible shockwave hitting him. His voice erupting in a furious roar, demanding to know who's to blame for this mess. He just can't fathom how Aaron stays so utterly unfazed, even as a top-tier martial artist. Aaron, cool as ice, just fires back, declaring stability the absolute key. Seokyeon tries to reason, explaining how a chill, steady pace practically eliminates internal injury risks. Later, Aaron's glued to a glowing screen, frustrated that even after hitting up his network, finding anything better is a total grind. His hand flares with crimson energy, a low "really" escaping his lips. Seokyeon doubles down, challenging the very idea of a system that leaves you so exposed, hammering home the brutal cost of endless injuries. Still radiating that eerie red light, Eren abruptly pivots, demanding to know what happened to the rest. Eren, ever the cool strategist, confirms he's on top of things, but Siaken, clearly feeling the pressure, drops a bombshell. There's a major snag with the instructions, and no one's responding. A subtle smirk plays on his lips as Eren coolly tells Siaken to just pass along the responses when they finally arrive. Siaken, clearly overwhelmed, manages a strained understood, but the real headache hits as he stammers about the looming distribution dates. The stress is etched onto his face, a silent testament to the mounting pressure. Shifting gears, Eren is now seen with a book in hand, a knowing grin spreading across his face, declaring it useful with an almost mischievous air. His eyes drift to a screen, a new plan already forming in his mind. It's a top-tier martial arts book, and the translation is surprisingly on point. A confident smile plays on his lips as Eren declares, "Good, then I'll." Suddenly, his sister pops up, eyes sparkling with curiosity, and hits him with the ultimate question, "For me?" The mysterious martial arts book, its blue gem pulsing with an inner light, is held firmly by Eren. He extends it to his sister, declaring, "I thought this would be incredibly useful for you." Her eyes widen, a gasp escaping her lips as she questions, "You got that for me? You really didn't have to go through all that trouble." He holds her gaze, his voice firm with conviction. "Look, it might seem strange now, but trust me, there's a crucial reason I'm handing you this book." She clutches the book, a puzzled expression on her face as she queries, "A reason?" Eren just smirks, "You'll get it once you finish it. Just make sure you read every single word." A determined smile spreads across her face as she vows, "All right, I promise." As she walks away, Eren's thoughts drift, a knowing smirk playing on his lips. She's got real talent. Definitely more than my old man ever did. His mind races, picturing her in formidable armor, radiating immense power. If she could just master the iron breath, maybe, just maybe, things wouldn't have spiraled out of control. The image of his father, a stoic armored figure, flashes in his mind. I mean, who knows for sure? But it's hard to even picture it. He's got one thing locked down. His sister never got the chance to unleash her true talent. He could have showered her with 100 system points or top-tier mana crystals, but that wasn't his game plan. No shortcuts, not now. With everything prepped, it was all systems go. Then, a sudden realization hits him, he almost forgot something huge. He pivots to a small crowd. And a red-haired woman in the group is absolutely speechless. Eren Steelguard flashes a confident smirk, 2 fingers raised, letting everyone know he's always watching. His message is crystal clear, don't even think about messing around. A subtle frown creases his brow, and in the crowd, a red-haired woman can't help but flinch, her face a perfect blend of shock and pure irritation. In his past life, the academy trip was a death march, a one-way ticket to a slaughterhouse. But now, the journey was totally different, a rhythmic clatter of hooves marking a new path. Everything was different now. He thought about how everyone who used to despise him now treated him better, and how everyone else just saw him in a good light. But above all, Eren Steelguard was a completely different person from his past self. With Siaken at his side, his eyes were locked on the horizon. The future was calling, a subtle red glow around his eye hinting at the power within as he faced it head-on. A sharp, metallic chime explodes, announcing the arrival of the message he's been waiting for, confirming the seller he needed has finally replied. He turns to his companion, Eren Steelguard exclaims about the perfect timing, because the items they've been hunting are finally out, but they'll still need to hash out the details. Then, his gaze snaps to a second notification, a quick "alright" confirming its presence. A subtle, crimson glow ignites in his eye as a wave of relief washes over him, the puzzle pieces finally clicking into place. He stares down at the mysterious, glowing Bulgasari's egg, a legendary shapeshifter in System X. This hatchable item, while capable of becoming a world-ending disaster, can also be a fiercely loyal ally if trained right, and with it, he knows he can finally start to clean up this mess. His hand reaches out, pulled by the soft, otherworldly glow of the egg. Eren Steelguard clutches the Bulgasari's egg, a ticking time bomb of raw power, a living natural disaster just waiting to explode. He scrutinizes the egg, and suddenly, a system window flashes, revealing its true nature. Siaken gives his final orders, promising to be ready if Eren calls, and Eren just gives a quick nod. Eren's eyes blaze crimson as he dives into the data. This egg holds Henriel, an animus from System 4, Callisto, a level 4 trader, a good warrior, with 418 coins. He lets out a low, intrigued hum. He settles down, eyes locked on the egg, a system window confirming its System 4 origin, his mind already strategizing. His eyes burn with a fierce red as he uncovers more about Henriel, a warrior ranked 28-27, a competition veteran, and a gambling addict who's won big. Another thoughtful hum escapes him, a dangerous idea taking root. Then, without warning, the egg pulses with a soft, purple light, making him gasp in surprise. Aaron Steelguard's hand is on the interface, and he's already thinking this is going to be way tougher than he thought. He hits the query, and the system flashes Haruan and Henriel, but he quickly types in his real goal: he's here to buy a Bulgasari egg. Then, a gruff voice cuts in, confirming it's from System 4. Aaron looks down, confirming the bearded man's arrival, who just stares back up. The bearded man, sipping his drink, just chills and says, "Give him a second." While they wait, the system's dropping some serious lore: no evil beasts, just legendary tamers, a guide to the Emperor of Beasts, Backmount, and a whole list of creatures like the Hypnosis Cyclops, the Bulgasari, and the Ghost Raven. Aaron's eyes narrow, confirming his move: he's going for number 215. The bearded man's hand twitches, a clear sign he's getting annoyed. He asks if Aaron's deaf, because he already told his servant he's not selling. He's back at it, pushing for Bulgasari egg number 215, and the merchant just gives him a knowing nod. Aaron's taken aback by the merchant's chill attitude, thinking, is this guy for real, because he's demanding a massive 2,000 coins just to talk. But the merchant shuts that down fast, saying money isn't the problem and demanding to know what Aaron really wants. Then, he drops the bomb: it's a book about the Emperor of Beasts. Aaron checks the price and admits, okay, that's actually not too bad. But the merchant just laughs it off, flat out refusing to sell the book, even with its legendary ties to the Emperor of Beasts. He's not budging, shooting down Aaron's offer and making it crystal clear: not for sale. Aaron's not giving up, quickly crunching numbers and upping his game with an offer of 8 more coins for number 215. But the merchant just shakes his head, telling Aaron he's completely missing the point: this isn't about money. Aaron, with that signature red glow in his eye, pushes the merchant, demanding to know if he's really selling all 14 items in one go. The merchant, with a cocky grin, confirms it, thinking 2,000 coins is a steal, but Aaron's mind races: this item is literally unfindable in the system. But he's not about to let this seller push him around, his eye flaring with determination. Switching tactics, Aaron lays down a new offer: 100 coins for a copy of item number 215. The merchant's smug look instantly vanishes, his face twisting in pure shock. Aaron himself is stunned by what he just said, thinking, a copy? How could I even suggest that? The merchant absolutely loses it, screaming that even the author wouldn't write something so ridiculous. Totally bewildered by the rant, Aaron wonders if this guy's high, or what the deal is with this golden noble merchant. But then, it hits him, his eye blazing as a shocking new possibility clicks into place. With his eye flaring red, Aaron's mind races, a chilling realization hitting him: this could have been catastrophic. He senses a hidden power, a system far beyond his understanding. The truth dawns on him: these aren't just items, they're copyright protected, under the iron fist of the author's center. One wrong move, and he'd be permanently banned, losing everything. No wonder the merchant went ballistic: this was serious business. He kicks himself for missing the tiny copyright mark, a stern warning echoing in his mind: pay attention. Siakin jabs a finger, his voice sharp, asking if Aaron even comprehends the sacred laws of copyright. Aaron, chin in hand, finally gets it: copying is a no-go, but a new plan is already brewing in his cunning mind. Then, with a glint in his eye, he drops a bombshell, offering a paltry 200 coins for the actual item number 215. His eye blazing, Aaron lays down the law: this is it, my final offer. He challenges Siakin to think long and hard. Siakin's jaw drops, his expression a mix of shock and disbelief, completely blindsided by Aaron's audacious move. He holds the glowing red item, his gaze unwavering as he shuts down the negotiation, daring the merchant to walk away if he can't handle the heat. His eye flares with a crimson glow as he smirks: who's really desperate here? Suddenly, a system alert pops up: Henriel wants to chat. Just as predicted, Siakin tries to haggle, claiming 200 coins as a low ball and pushing for 300. Aaron's eye flashes, and he goes for the kill, dropping the copyright bomb and making it clear Siakin knows exactly what that means. Trapped, Siakin can only stammer: if Aaron's really not going to sell. Siakin's face contorts in pure agony, his game plan utterly shattered. Aaron, holding the item, drops the hammer, announcing he'll sell, but only on his terms. The trade is happening, exactly as he planned. He watches the crushed merchant, a silent thought echoing: Siakin's only got about 400 coins, and he's totally desperate for this trade. The merchant was clearly on the ropes, trying to claw back his gambling losses, making him the perfect mark. But then, a new system alert flashed, dropping a bombshell about the item's copyright protection: item number 215 was locked down, unusable and unsellable until its copyright ran out. A sudden realization hit him, the pieces clicking into place about why so many were in on this secret. Then, a torrent of data slammed into him, detailing the item's insane danger level: regional class beast that could hit national class, with training, and theoretically even continental class or planet class rampages depending on how it was raised. He muttered, almost to himself, utterly baffled by these insane classifications. He hadn't expected much from this thing at first, but now, the sheer scale of its potential was hitting him hard. The phrase reverberated in his head, a terrifying echo of the monstrous power he now possessed. His eyes went wide with pure terror, as the true, horrifying danger of this item finally clicked. Then, another system message popped up, dropping a new bombshell. Was Young Chang actually Hawkeye's trainer?